Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's reading we are going to be acknowledging the unrelenting passage of time and looking at predictions and advice for 2026. Now, what's really important to remember here is that the future is never set in stone, but the way that I've designed the reading is kind of, I don't know. There's a lot I was thinking about doing with this reading that I ended up not doing, and there's a lot that I still technically want to do, but I just don't know how much you guys want to know about 2026. And what I was kind of thinking about are just things like, instead of what's going to happen, how can you make XYZ happen, or what can you create, like things like that. If you guys have things that you want to know about for 2026, even if they are predictive and a lot of you want them, like, we can do that too. I had to narrow down what we did for 2026 because, you know, this doesn't need to be 7,000 hours. So even though I could do it. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna. So this is what I chose to do for this reading. And then if there are things you guys want, like specific areas like love or career or, you know, just whatever, any ideas you have, anything you want to see, just let me know. Cause like, I'm trying to make up for the fact that I've been on vacay. Thanks for being patient with me while I was though. So let's actually look at this reading now, and I'm going to stop yapping. Well, I'm not going to stop yapping, but we're going to start yapping about what's relevant on this paper. So before you are 4 rocks. I don't know what kind they are. They're the hard kind. But underneath these rocks are the carvings of a word. And each one has a special word. And that word will represent a major theme of your 2026. And then to go deeper, we're going to see how this theme is going to manifest throughout your year, what that might look like, and examples of it. This isn't the only ways it will manifest, but we're just getting a better idea of how this word will appear as a concept in your world, or how you will sense that theme through XYZ experiences. Then we're going to move into the tarot that you choose, and we're going to start by looking at your overall vibe in 2026. So this is kind of meant to be a baseline of where you find yourself at a majority of the time. This is like, I'm too far gone from school, so I can't even remember mean, median, and mode. I think it's the mode, because isn't mode like the one that the number that appears most often? I could be totally wrong. I'm already bad at math anyway. But essentially, you know, obviously you're gonna have fluctuations throughout 365 or 66 days. I don't know if it's a leap year. I don't know what's going on. The concept of time does elude me a bit. This is just an average, like where you will find yourself, or like an energy you will find yourself returning to, where you can say like, yeah, this year was overall, I felt like this. Now, then we're going to look at the overall vibe of your environment in 2026. So this is less in your control, but it's more so making you aware of like what the energies around you will be like, what the vibe around you will be, whether you can like impact it or not. I thought it would be an interesting thing to look at, because I feel like no matter what our intentions are, sometimes the vibes are just like weird and it's hard to like acclimate. So I don't know, I thought it might be helpful so that you know what you're experiencing in the upcoming year. Then I want to look at a major highlight of your 2026 that is either a reoccurring experience or a standalone experience. I will not specify which unless it's obvious to me, but trust your gut. But this is kind of meant to be a big blessing, but instead just like something really exciting, something really meaningful, something just really great about this year. And then the last tarot question that we will have is how to bring light to your life and those around you. And the reason why I chose this question specifically is because, like, guys, like, let's just be real. Like, we didn't start the fire that is going on around the world, but like, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the world. There's a lot of sad stuff. There's a lot of scary stuff. And like, it's just it's very easy to be nihilistic and cynical, and it's very hard to have hope and be positive, I think, for many people. And if you're not one of them, congratulations. Like, I love that for you. Please, like, help me to give us advice. Actually, give the whole crew advice on how to maintain that, because that's one thing, that's one goal of mine, is to bring more light to my life. And this is also by proxy. So this isn't just how you can make other people's lives better. This is how can you bring light to your own life, and subsequently that improves the lives of those around you, that sort of thing. So we're going to look at that as well. And I hope that this is something that you can lean on in the year 2026 when you're struggling, or things are frustrating, or you're overwhelmed, or you're just feeling powerless to stop all the horrors you see around you. I felt like this could be an empowering way to address that, even though you may not necessarily see the effect of what you're doing. You might feel it for yourself, and maybe that is enough to trust in that butterfly effect. And then finally, I just wanted to finish off with this reading with guidance for navigating 2026 as easily and smoothly as possible. So if you have any questions, like over the things that we're reading about, like how do I do this thing, or how will this happen, the guidance should address that. And if you don't get answers from the guidance that address that, take it as a sign. You'll know what to do when the time comes. You'll get the intuitive guidance. It might be just unique to you. Also, sorry about my voice. I might be getting sick. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just maturing and getting hoarser, which I don't mind that, because I am a horse girl. That being said, though, I just kind of wanted to look at guidance in terms of, like, you know how we can make our lives harder for ourselves? I wanted to look at guidance essentially to make, you know, the things we can't control as manageable as possible, and not make things unnecessarily more difficult. So that's what we're going to be covering in this reading today. Like I said, if there are other things you want to cover, other things you want to explore, ideas you have, feel free to share them. I do not promise I will make them, but if I really like them and they make me excited, I might. Or if they get a lot of likes and seem to be something that a lot of people want, that is also something that will be extra compelling. Although, no guarantees. We flowing out here. And I just want to show up more because I've missed you guys so much. Okay, so we have 4 different tarot decks for you to choose from today, and 4 different rocks with secret key words. So starting with group number 1, we are going to be using the Lightseers Tarot, and we have this first rock. And then for group number 2, we are going to be using the Wild Unknown Tarot, and I have this slightly bigger gray rock on top. I would imagine these are of the same material, but they have different words written on them, and they're different sizes, so, you know. Then for group number 3, we are going to be using the 8th House Tarot, and we have this dark gray charcoal looking rock on top. And then finally for group number 4, we are going to be using the Synesthesia Tarot, and I have this rock on top. It's kind of got more yellow hues, I think, than the other ones, but go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one. Just feel free to do what works for you. It's going to kind of be up to you to trust what reading is for you. I would say if things just aren't making sense or don't sound like what your year is going to be, I would say maybe pick a different group, but really just trust your gut. And, you know, if you really like what you see, claim it. Like, don't be like, oh, I feel like this isn't my group because it's too positive. Like, don't block your blessings. Don't reject goodness because you don't feel worthy of it, or because you're afraid of it not happening. Like, that's like ordering something at a restaurant and then leaving halfway because you're afraid the waiter won't bring your meal. Like, the meal's coming. You wouldn't be at the restaurant to begin with if it wasn't. So, that being said, Intro Squad, it is our time. And Intro Squad, oh, you already know, I have a story for you. I'm putting myself on blast, and I actually want to invite all of you to put yourselves on blast as well. And You can brag if you want. I'm not going to brag because I'm not proud of this, but like, I think it's also important that we talk about the things that we think that we are mature and strong enough to not act on. And also, I think that we should also just give humanity credit, because I think we all have a lot of thoughts in our head that theoretically we want to act on, but we don't, because we can be the bigger person, or we know we're better than that, or it's not mature, or it might be kind of funny. So let me just say why I was thinking about this. The invitation is share your inside thoughts. How have you been the bigger person? Did you regret it? Why or why not? Yeah, what's a time that you've had to be the bigger person recently? Or what are some thoughts that you've had that you're like, yeah, I've had these thoughts. I would never act on them, but I've had them. And it's a testament to human impulse control and also the pro-social nature of humans. I believe deep down that we all are. So I say all this to say, the other day I was walking in a very busy, crowded area, and this man cut me off while I was walking and got all in my space. But me, being the Midwestern princess, perfect angel that never does anything wrong that I am, I said, oh, sorry. And this man glared at me. When, mind you, he was the issue to begin with. And it would be one thing if it just ended there. I'd be like, oh, that guy sucks, and I move on with my life. But this man was wearing a goofy ass hat. And you can't be an asshole and wear a goofy hat. You can't do that. Like, you gotta pick a lane. Like, dumb hat, nice. No dumb hat, okay, you can, like, where do you get the gall? Okay, so I'm not proud of it, but I did have the thought of, I could take this dude's hat right now and run in the opposite direction as fast as I could. Or can, because I guess it was in present tense. I wanted to take his hat and run in the opposite direction as fast as I could. And honestly, for a second, I kind of thought about it, because I'm not a paragon of physical fitness, but I don't think he would have been able to catch me. And also, it just kind of seemed like a funny response to a rude behavior. But I didn't do it. I really genuinely did think about it for 1 second though. And then I was like, no, it's kind of mean. And also, like, what's the point? Like, screw this guy. Like, it doesn't matter. So I'm very proud of myself for being the bigger person. But that man could have had attachment issues with his hat because of me. And he's lucky I'm big enough to let things go and let things slide. But I am going to air them out on the internet. And I will say, like, I think that you can either wear a goofy hat or be a jerk. You can't do both. That guy got to do both, I guess. And I was not willing to combat him. But you know what? You kind of do just look sillier anyway when you're a jerk in a dumb hat. So my thing is like, just pick a lane. Like, pick a lane. You got to pick a lane. You know, Jenny Nicholson wears really goofy hats, and they're adorable and awesome. And guess what? She's not a jerk, because she picked her lane. Pope, same deal. Goofy hat. And to be fair, he has to be nice for a lot of other reasons too. But I mean, you can't not deny that he probably thinks like, oh, I better not be a jerk in this hat, because like, this is like I'm just gonna look like so dumb. Like I got like I feel like even the Pope knows he's got to pick a lane. You know what I mean? Like if he's gonna be a jerk, it's when he takes the hat off. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel very passionately about that, and I am proud of myself for being the bigger person. But also, I thought it was kind of a funny thought, and it just made me think of like how many like funny thoughts of things that are like, I could do this, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be the bigger person. I'm not gonna let the thoughts win. Like, what do y'all have? But also, have you ever let the thoughts win? If so, what happened? Like, I felt like this was an interesting topic of conversation mixed in with a funny story. And it's also kind of funny because I would never think that. Like, it's an evidence of my healing, because I feel like me 5 years ago would be like, why was that guy like so mean to me? Like, I didn't even do anything wrong. Like, I'd be too busy thinking about that guy being upset with me. But instead I was just like, you don't know how unsafe your hat is right now. And you're so lucky. I'm not about to show you. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that. All right. Angel Squad, love to hear from you. Thank you for being here. We are going to go ahead now and get into the reading, so I will see you there. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Lightseers Tarot and this first rock, this is going to be your reading on your year of 2026, an overview, predictions, and advice. Full breakdown of the reading in the intro, but we are going to start by looking at the word on the other side of this rock. This word is going to represent a major theme throughout the year of 2026 for you, and then we are going to use these oracle cards to clarify how this theme might manifest or examples of how it will. So for you guys, the theme of your 2026 is love, which is beautiful. And before some of you start groaning, love does not equate romance. It can have that, but chill. This is a lovely, lovely, wonderful thing to have. Let's not hate on some beautiful blessings, but let's go deeper. Do you love how firm I got there? I bet some of you did. Anyway, we're gonna look at how love will be manifesting in your world in the upcoming years. So to start, we have Wellspring. What are you thirsty for? Body care, take a breath. We have a deep breath and the number 7. And we have Wonders. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is awesome. Guys, 2026 for you is going to be the year where you actually embody the practice of shifting from fear to love. Love is entering your life in profound ways, and this is so much more than just romantic relationships. This is spiritual love and also just true unconditional love for self that you are going to be practicing. Now, that doesn't mean that the upcoming year will be less stressful or somehow quieter than the year before was, but the difference is that the same stimuli that would have maybe been something that put you in a fearful state or may have been too overwhelming to handle, you are either learning the tools to be able to handle it in 2026, or you are learning how to navigate it in a way where it is no longer something that is a barrier or an inhibitor to you feeling in control. Not only that though, I see a big shift into creating more balance. We don't have any tarot yet, but I do see some temperance energy here where you are learning to balance the way you live, because one thing that I'm seeing here is that out of fear, you tend to push yourself and your body way too hard. And I think this is the year where you finally let go of control and let the universe, let God, let spirit, let source take the wheel in a way where you still have a say in where things are going, but you recognize there's a much better path to getting there than the one you're used to. And as a result, that's where I feel this Wonders card comes in, where you are going to be experiencing miraculous, exciting, and very beautiful experiences and changes in 2026. I feel like opportunities you couldn't have created on your own, just serendipitous, joyful experiences that come as a direct result of surrendering and trusting the flow of life. I feel like you're gonna find that things happen and you realize you never had to work so hard for what you were dreaming of. You just had to be willing to let go a little bit and trust that the universe, God, whatever you believe in, even if it's just yourself, knew the way there without you having to think too hard. I definitely feel like you're coming home to your body in a way where you're recognizing how your habits may be making it more challenging to stay in a state of love. Like, I feel like you're learning how what love looks like in so many different contexts. I mean, with this number 7 here, 7 is a highly spiritual number, and I do feel like you might be taking meditation, or at the very least, mindfulness and stillness practices a lot more seriously in 2026. I think you'll be making more space for breathing practices, or just time to slow down and take a breath in general. And actually, I think what's going to happen is you're going to find that life speeds up. And life is actually a lot easier because you're taking time to slow down. I mean, the fact that we have a deep breath and take a breath, this is the year where life speeds up because you start slowing down and you become much less focused on the destination or the result. You go from a solution-oriented focus or a result-oriented focus to a process-oriented focus and a journey-oriented focus. And I think that that's actually going to be really satisfying for you, because I think you've been trying to get back to this place anyway, but it's just been really hard for you to be there when you're in a state of fight or flight or survival mode. Like, it's natural when your nervous system is in a state where it needs to be, like, where it's not calm. I think that it's natural and normal that you're going to feel like you have to push yourself. But what I think is really beautiful is you're going to be seeing the extent of love that the universe has for you, that and how when you are more loving to yourself, it's easier to recognize it from the universe, because I think that there are things that the universe has been wanting you to receive for a while now. If there have been manifestations or things that you've been trying to cultivate, where the universe is like, it's on its way, it's coming, they weren't lying to you about that. It's just a matter of, it's always been on its way, it's always been coming. That's what she said. Oh my God. Too many cooks in the kitchen in my brain. I need the immature ones out. Thank you. That was funny though. What was I saying? You're just going to find that you just don't have to push so hard. And like, I think you're also going to be recognizing what love looks like, not in a romanticized rose-colored glasses sort of way, where instead of just surface level, like, acts of love, you're truly understanding what love looks like when you extend it towards yourself, when you extend it towards others, when you allow yourself to receive it. I think that things that you've been really wanting to happen this year have the opportunity to appear miraculously and spontaneously, because you're no longer so focused on trying to make it happen. It's like you're actually open to receiving what you were hoping for. Not only that, though, I do feel like as well, you're just going to be in a place where you're more balanced. And I think that your process is going to require more stillness, more slowness, more time for rest than maybe you've given yourself in the past. But what I think you're going to find is that the part of you that in the past wanted to panic when you did give yourself time to rest, or that couldn't let you relax, that part of you, it will show itself when you're making these changes. But the mindfulness practices that you're either already cultivating or that you are going to find, and the ways in which you're going to be taking care of your body, will help you handle those impulses when they arise. And as you handle them and go through to the other side and see the result of what this time in stillness, of what this time in rest can do, I think you're going to see, wow, I'm getting so much more done. And I would have never trusted that a year ago. Like, and I think too, what you're going to realize is as well is that, like, a lot of tasks that seem daunting or overwhelming aren't when you have like enough sleep and enough electrolytes in your body and are hydrated and are also not putting an extreme amount of pressure on yourself to produce and perform to a degree that's either unsustainable or unhealthy for you. I think this is a year where you're really taking your health seriously, and also recognizing at how just putting a little bit of emphasis into your health goes a long way. I think that you're going to find that you see close to immediate improvements in certain changes that you make, and I think you're going to see, wow, I feel a lot better, or like, wow, like, I think it's almost going to be easier to be gentler with yourself, because you're starting to trust that you have your own back, and like you're making good decisions for yourself. And I also think you're giving yourself freedom to experience all within moderation. Like, I think that there's just more permission for life to happen, and more permission for you to actually start putting your oxygen mask on first, and taking time to breathe before you keep pushing yourself forward. I think that this is the year where you stop sprinting and you start distance running, which maybe for some of you that's literal. But I think that your stamina is going to be incredible this year because of the ways in which you're going to be taking care of yourself. And I also think you're just going to be more tuned in and receptive to how the universe communicates to you, to loving experiences that really just show you like, wow, there is so much behind me in terms of wanting to support me, in terms of loving me, in terms of wanting me to live my best life, like wanting me to be my best self and feel good and enjoy my life to the best of my ability. Like, I think that is going to be a focus. And I would say in general, this is just going to be a very emotionally enriching year for you, where there's a lot of fulfilling experiences, but also you are putting your feelings and your needs into the equation and into consideration in ways that you never have before, and at a higher frequency than you ever have. Instead of only being able to listen to your body when you're running on empty and it feels broken, you're starting to pay attention to when, metaphorically speaking, your body's check engine light turns on, or when, you know, it would be good to shut down for the night because maybe another hour would be overdoing it. Like, I think you're really starting to learn how loving actions towards yourself makes it easier for you to be gentler with yourself, makes it easier for you to be gentler with others, and it gives you more space and patience and trust to be able to relax and flow instead of panicking and over extending yourself unnecessarily and just fighting a current that really could just carry you and allow you to enjoy the ride. So speaking of wonders, I really do think there are a lot of beautiful things headed your way this year. Romantic love could be one of them. If you are in a relationship already, I do think that you're going to have just a lot of opportunities to spend time with your significant other, or you guys are going to be like, you know, focusing on your relationship. Or if you have a family, I think you guys could be spending more time together, taking more time to relax with each other. If you love your family but have a hard time staying centered with them, I think that you are going to be learning loving ways to be in proximity to your family without creating harm to yourself, which I think is beautiful. I also think that this is the year where you learn to let go of feeling like you need to explain yourself to people. I think you're just recognizing that, you know, the people that demand an explanation anyway are probably not very loving individuals that don't really get it anyway. And you don't have to explain yourself. I definitely think there's a lot of beauty and also just recognizing how incredible your body is. Like, I feel like you're going to be really connecting to the reality of how hard your body works, and like just the sophisticated mechanisms that, you know, are always working in your body without realizing it. I think you're going to be recognizing the privilege of health and the privilege of what you can do, and recognizing how healing it is to like put effort into that. And I also think that if you're trying to manifest something, especially like a romantic relationship or something like that, I think all of this is exactly what's going to bring it in. I would also say as well, like if you are whatever ways in which you're wanting to experience love this year, I think that that is something that you are actively manifesting, cultivating, and will experience. So I have your oracle cards out for all of the tarot questions we're going to ask. So if you just want to focus your energy on the deck while I shuffle, if I can pick all of it up. I probably shouldn't have laid these out while I was shuffling. That was maybe a bit silly of me. Look at that, the Ace of Cups coming out. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to share and receive love and to just experience love. And one of the ways in which I think you're really going to be experiencing love is just in the magnitude and grandeur of the universe, and just the recognition of how much magical shit there is in the world that like we don't always notice because we're too locked into our own experience. Like, this is the year where you stop to smell the roses and realize how much you love the scent. And it's something you carry with you for the rest of your life, where you're like, wow, I can't believe I never realized how good roses smell, or something like that. Like, just beautiful stuff like that. Like, I think you're going to recognize just in the world around you things that you love about this planet, things that you love about the creatures on it, the flora and fauna, you know, the landscapes. I think you're going to be feeling a lot of love in the land around you. And I also want to mention the letter W seems to be significant. I don't know if there are words or names or letters that start with W. I would say July is going to be a significant month because we have the number 7 here. And I don't know, maybe Wednesdays will be a good rest day for you. I'm pretty sure that's the only W. Well, it's the only one I can think of. Yeah. Anyway, if you're enjoying this video and you want to leave me a like, thank you for doing that, because that's really helpful and a wonderful way to let me know what you want to see more of. Help others find this video if it is relevant to them. And just support me. So thank you to everyone who does that. And thank you to everyone who lets the ads play for at least 30 seconds. I know that sounds crazy, but it doesn't count. Like, it doesn't count you as watching the ad if you don't do it for at least 30 seconds. That's what I learned. That's why I say that. That's why I say that. I'm not saying that just... And I don't expect you to watch it. Just mute it and do something else, please. Please. It's really helpful, and it keeps me from having to do stuff like sponsors and stuff, or just think about like going back to school and doing something else. So if you want me to keep doing this, let the ads play or get YouTube Premium so you don't have to watch them. Okay. And thank you to everyone who does. You're the best. So the first question that we need to ask is, what will Group 1's overall vibe be in 2026, please? Also, I hope I've been saying the actual year. It's quite possible that I haven't. I don't know what year it is. I'm like, spiritually, I'm still in like 2016. Or maybe I just wish I was back there. Okay. What is the overall vibe of Group 1's environment in 2026, please? What will Group 1's environment be like in 2026? Okay, what is a major highlight of Group 1's 2026 that they will be experiencing? And finally, how can Group 1 bring light to their life when they are struggling, or just when they want more light, and how, by extension, can they bring that light to others? Okay. I will say, having the Ace of Swords on the back of the deck, I think this is a year for a lot of clarity, and I think it's truly neutral clarity, where you're seeing what doesn't work, and instead of judging yourself or shaming yourself for patterns and habits that you've been struggling to change, I think you're really clocking it for what it is. Like, oh, this is a maladaptive coping mechanism that I created from a place of survival mode. Like, I have a lot of compassion for myself, because that's a hard thing to do, and I was just doing the best I could. I think things like that you're gonna find, you just clock what something is without judgment or shame towards yourself, but instead a lot of compassion and being like, yeah, of course it was hard to like make that shift, because I was here and I was dealing with that and it felt like this. And yeah, I think you're just gonna be really validating yourself in ways that other people haven't been able to, and I think it's gonna bring you a lot of healing. So that being said, let's go ahead and see your overall vibe in 2026. Ooh, we love to see it. Listen, if people can't love and appreciate you and celebrate you, they have no business coming into 2026 for you, with you, because I feel like in general, you are going to be feeling abundant in 2026, and I actually think that's going to attract more abundance to you. I feel like you're going to be seeing all the value of what's already around you, but I also think that you're going to have this very healthy level of independence, but also connection with the people that you care about. I also feel like you're going to be feeling really stable this year. And you're gonna find that when you get stuck in a fearful place, you're able to shift yourself quite quickly. And actually, one recommendation I would do is that when you are struggling with fear, is to focus on using the material dimension as a way to quite literally negate what those fears are telling you. So for example, when your nervous system is saying, oh, it's not safe, like we could be mauled by an animal right now, you could be like, okay, but we're on the 33rd floor of an apartment building, and listen, feel how soft our sheets are. You know, if you've got like an essential oils thing, or like if you've got a scent, like smell this in the air, like feel the security of this. Like I think even just like talking to yourself and telling yourself like we're safe, like we're in bed right now, like it's okay to feel fear, but there's no danger. Like I think just talking yourself through it and using physical evidence to point to it, I think is something that will be very reassuring for you. I would also say that if you are if you don't already have some sort of system for saving money or someone to assist you with that, if it's something that feels too daunting on your own, I think that's something that could also make you feel more confident and just feel more secure as well. If like a lot of your if a lot of fears come up around survival and around like money, because what I see here is you being financially stable and also being smart with that money. I think you're recognizing that if you, whatever you receive, if you play it right, it can go a long way. So I think that you're naturally being drawn to smart sources to conserve, but also like create stability or greater security, or just increase in general, like your material security, but also your own security within your body. I feel like you're also going to be experiencing, like your intuition is going to be heightened this year, and part of that is because you're just going to be more present and safe in your body in ways where you'll be able to listen to it more. I think one thing that you're going to start realizing is that you're going to pick up more psychic phenomena physically, and you might not always be able to explain it, but I think clairsentience and just physical sensations are going to be powerful forms of intuitive communication for you. And when you trust it, I think you're going to find that you're rewarded for it, or brought to places that make you realize, oh yeah, I can trust myself, and oh yeah, I do know what I'm doing, and everything's gonna be okay here. That's really what I see. I also just feel like in general, you're gonna find that your intuition is on point, and when you listen to it instead of needing like objective evidence, I think you're gonna find that you're really happy with yourself and like, see, I knew it. I also think it's gonna be easier this year as well for you to trust your own intuition over what other people around you might be saying or other people's opinions. I think you're just gonna recognize, like, not that there's anything wrong with their takes. I mean, maybe there is, like maybe they're literally wrong, but I think that you're just going to recognize how your perspective has come from a place of centeredness and also neutrality and like openness, a more like peaceful, neutral like approach that allows you to kind of trust yourself more, because you're not rooted in attachment to what you think is true. You're really just trying to suss out what is real and what is true. So next, I want to see the overall vibe of your environment in 2024. This may or may not be something you can control, but at the very least, my hope with this question is to just be able to look at, like, you know, no matter what vibe you're in, like what might you be experiencing around you, so you can clock it as that and not think it's like your fault or your perception or how you can, I don't know. We're just going to look. So for that, we have the King of Swords. And we have set intentions. So I feel like your environment is really going to encourage you to stay stuck in your head. And I think that makes sense, because generally speaking, we are taught to be in our heads in the world around us. And I think where you might struggle is you can maybe over intellectualize things, or get into analysis paralysis, or start to overthink things in a way that makes you feel less confident in yourself. I definitely think also you're going to be contending with people who are very sure about the world and very set on how they see things. I will say, I saw a comment earlier on just a random video that honestly broke my heart, with someone saying like that people don't realize it, but all love is conditional, and like there's no such thing as unconditional love. And I was like, wow, I really hope that person learns and gets to experience the reality that they're wrong, because that's like a really, really sad belief system to have, and a really sad thing to miss out on, because if you don't believe in it, you can't sense it when it's there, right? And so for you, I feel like your environment will only have as much of a hold over you as you unconsciously allow it to. And what I mean by unconsciously allow it to is like, I don't feel like your environment is like, I feel like your environment is going to want you to be, you know, in your head all the time, making judgments, like thinking about things. And this year's not about thinking, it's about feeling. I say this with the utmost peace and love, but like, you've thought plenty, and your thoughts are great, but a lot of them have not led you to a healthier, more balanced way of life. And that is what this time is about. It's about trusting your body, your physical body and your emotional body and your spiritual intuitive body to guide and lead you and help you navigate in ways that are healthier, more balanced, and also more enjoyable than how the conscious mind has wanted to go about things. So I feel like, number one, you actually have the ability to consciously project the type of environment you want to have. And if you are in a state of emotion, I think that you can successfully shift the vibe of a room. That's not going to shift everyone's vibe. Some people will still be in their heads and not be able to be open and receptive to the energy around them, but you're not going to be taking that personally, and it's not going to be something that impacts your own sovereignty. I feel like you're definitely going to be recognizing cynicism and nihilism in your own environment, and how it is still within your belief system. And I think that you're going to have periods and opportunities to realize, you know, wow, that isn't like, I think you're going to have experiences actually that prove to you a lot of those things aren't as true as you thought they were. And I think it's actually going to be very liberating, and it's also going to help you realize where your mind is best utilized. And I think that you will have more power over your environment the more tuned into yourself you are. So, you know, if you set the intention when you're stepping into an environment of like, I'm going to listen to the rhythms of my body, and I'm going to do my best to be kind and whatever. I feel that conscious effort and that focus is something that will make you feel more empowered to navigate environments you can't control, and be less susceptible to how those environments can be damaging to your own consciousness. I feel like you're going to be recognizing how a lot of people are not operating from an intuitive place. They're operating from their conditioning, and therefore what they think is true is not always what is really true. And for you, it's not about knowing what is true or not and having everyone recognize it, but rather just recognizing what's true for you and honoring that. I feel like you're just going to be rewarded handsomely for that every time you do it. And I also think you're going to realize where thinking gets in the way of just living, and it actually creates blockages in terms of abundance, in terms of feeling centered, feeling grateful, feeling loved. Like I think you're going to be recognizing how the mental body can block the connection between spirit and earth. And the beautiful thing I think you're going to be recognizing is that not only are you going to learn how to not let it affect you, which you already are, you're also learning how you can use, you're going to be observing your environment to understand, like, to number one, see the mistakes you've made and understand why they don't lead to some sort of clarity or awareness. But also you're going to be seeing how your own brain has kind of, shot yourself in the foot, like kind of helped in wrong ways, essentially. And I think that you're going to find that your mind becomes an assistant to what your body and emotions and intuition are communicating to you. and it's gonna really help you have an acute sense of what's being communicated to you. And also just seeing the pattern recognition of what happens when you trust it. I think that you're gonna have a very powerful mental shift where you learn how to reprogram your mind in ways that support the new processes you're already building rather than thwart them and keep you stuck in a state of recovering from crashing or burning out. So now I want to see a major highlight of your 2026. This can be a reoccurring thing or a standalone event. And for that, we have the Ace of Wands and we have Sweet Pea, blissful pleasure. Follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. I think the highlight of your year is that, number one, if you've found yourself to be very lethargic or burnt out, fatigued, really struggling to have ideas or dreams or even like imagination, you're getting your spark back this year. And in fact, anytime it goes out, I think you're going to be recognizing the causes of what creates that and also what allows your inner spark to get stronger. I also want to mention, for those of you that partake in biblical relations, they will be quite divine in a great way. I think you're going to be having a lot of fun. And I also think that all of the changes that you are making in terms of what's best for your health, I think you're going to be feeling more confident. I think it might actually even increase your libido. You might even just find as well, like this energy could just extend to inspiration, motivation. I think creative projects you're really going to be enjoying this year. Anything that excites you, anything that lights your heart on fire, that just makes you excited, and anything that you feel passionate about, I think you're really going to be enjoying. I definitely think if you're trying to manifest a partner, if you don't have one, I would say that you're probably going to be having fun experiences dating while you figure it out. And I think that you're going to also be igniting just a lot of awareness of who you're becoming in relationship. I think that you're kind of getting to know yourself all over again and learning that you have feelings and needs and desires that maybe you didn't before. And I think that's actually really exciting for you because you're really starting to see what is non-negotiable when it comes to dating and exploring opening up your life and your world. If you are already in a relationship, if things have been dry in the bedroom, I think that is changing. I think that it's even possible too that you could just feel like the spark, and it doesn't even have to be related to the bedroom, but I feel like the spark in general could just be lit up. Whatever has felt dry in your world, it doesn't... Stop it. You knew what you were doing. They led me right into that one. You've got some cheeky cards. That's all I'll tell you. This is definitely a year where you're having a lot of fun and experiencing just the joy of living in a body, like the blissful pleasure that can come with that, the sensual pleasures. And also, I think that you are like some of your most profound and exciting creative projects are going to come about this year. Well, so far. I definitely think you're entering a new stage of creativity, a new stage of consciousness, a new stage of spiritual connection. And I think that you are going to find that your energy levels are higher than they've ever been and also more consistent than they've ever been. And what you might find too is that a lot of the artificial ways you were pushing yourself to get energy, when you eliminate them, you find that you don't really feel the same crashes and fatigue that you once did because there's more balance being created. Now, that's not to say, like, obviously there are things like chronic fatigue and things like that that are very complex, and I'm not saying that those are ending, but at the very least, even if you are struggling physically or have like an illness or some sort of disability that makes it hard for you to really enjoy being in your body or enjoy the experiences of life sometimes because, you know, you're just dealing with like a lot of pain or just it's just frustrating and hard. Like, I think that number one, you're going to be finding ways to accommodate yourself that make life easier for you. And also, I think that you're going to know, like, if there's any lingering shame or embarrassment or guilt around advocating for yourself or doing what you need, that is leaving this year, because you're seeing the value of when you actually do take care of yourself, what you're able to accomplish and how much more enjoyable your life is. And I think you might even find, like, if some of you guys deal with things like flare-ups or something like that, you might find that, you know, all of these shifts really lead to less of that and less bad days with your body or less bad days with your mind, because you're just in a more centered place. And I just got the most extreme level of deja vu. I don't know what that's about. Okay, can you still see things? Yes. It's getting a little dark, but I think we can make it throughout the rest of this video. So next, I want to see how you can add light to your life and subsequently the lives of those around you. This is really meant to, number one, be a response to when life gets overwhelming or when you just feel like, I need a little bit more light in my life. And honestly, I feel like if you're trying to reignite your spark, this is even a helpful way to do it as well. So for that, we have the Five of Swords, and we have the chant that represents the power to manifest abundance, Om Shri Maha Lakshmiye Swaha. So the goddess Lakshmi could be very significant in your life this year. But I definitely think as well, generosity of spirit and connection to abundance and cultivating abundance for yourself will always be something that adds light to your life. Like, because I think one thing that you may forget is how love grows and the abundant nature of it. I feel like the best way to counteract lack mentality or just like negative thoughts or disempowering thoughts that make you feel stuck is to really get into this state of abundance. But I actually, you know, this isn't from this deck, but I want to read Lakshmi's card from this deck because I feel like it might be helpful. This is the Yogic Path Guidebook. Our goddess has to be here somewhere. Okay, ooh, we passed her. Okay. Many call upon Lakshmi, but she only comes to the few who have earned it. Today, that is you. She is the goddess of abundance, physical beauty, Ohaz, vital life force. I might be saying that wrong, I apologize. Good fortune and fertility. She is the sweetness of the fruit, the petals of the flower, glistening of the ocean. She is the extra spark that makes certain things beautiful. She comes to you with the blessings of prosperity for the fruits of your labor. She has recognized your generosity and rewards you in her ways, whether it is financial abundance, radiant health, loving partnership, a comfortable home, good fortune, or impregnation you are seeking. If you are not seeking that, be careful. Some of you are like, laughs and gay or lesbian, and I love that for you. That's awesome. But you should still be safe because STDs come for everyone. Continue to give freely and lovingly, and so will she. And so I feel like when you are feeling stuck or you are feeling like you are coming from a place of lack, I think shifting back to a place of abundance is really going to be helpful for you. I think this chant is going to be really helpful for you. Working with Lakshmi or exploring those concepts more might be really supportive for you. But I think that your own abundant nature will bring a lot of hope, joy, and healing to those around you. So we're going to go ahead now and finish your reading off by looking at guidance and just last messages for making this upcoming year, number one, as easy as possible, and number two, making it so that you don't have to deal with any unnecessary issues like making things worse for yourself. So let's see what these things are. I am worthy of safe and healthy relationships. So I think actually one of the best things that you will be doing and one of the most loving things you'll be doing with yourself is making sure, number one, that your relationships are safe and healthy. And if they're not, setting boundaries, making changes, or doing what you need to do to ensure that. But also establishing that standard for anyone who comes into your world, because that is very important. And I think that this year is really going to be showing you as well that you're not difficult to love, and that in fact, like, when you are unwilling to accept people in your circle that treat you that way, and clock that behavior as like nothing to do with you and unacceptable, I think it's really going to be easier for you to discern and filter your social connections and just the connections of the people around you with a lot more trust in yourself and a lot less like doubt or guilt, because you recognize like, I don't owe anyone anything, and how they feel about what I need to do to keep myself safe is their problem. We also have surrender. Trust that the universe is working behind the scenes for you. Your manifestations will materialize when you truly surrender. So yeah, I really do think this is the year where you let go of control. You let go and let God. Like, and I think that you're going to find that this is where you really realize, wow, like, I was kind of boo-boo the fool for thinking I needed to have it figured out. And I think that's kind of one of the fearful illusions that we can create, is like just feeling like we got to do it all ourselves, but you're not alone and you are supported. We also have the theme of spirituality, and the trigger statement is, I am so disconnected, and the true statement is, everything is connected. It will be beneficial for you to spend time in quiet contemplation. You need to reflect within to find the answers you seek. So this is once again reaffirming, like, hey, when things get overwhelming, when you feel yourself stuck in fear, when you feel disconnected, when you don't understand something, that is when you need to give yourself space. And I would really recommend that if you haven't already started exploring, ask the universe to lead you to techniques, tools, or resources that will be beneficial for you, whether it's breathing techniques, meditation videos. There's so many free sources on YouTube, EFT tapping. There's so many wonderful things out there for regulating the nervous system, for creating, for assisting in a sense of calm. But, you know, another thing too is just a nice walk outside in nature, breathe in the fresh air. Hopefully you have a decent air quality or somewhere you can go with decent air quality. It can do a lot of wonders for you. But we also, yes, we have surrendered to success. You are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. And this Wonder card talks about the same thing, an exciting new world of possibilities. And a lot of these cards remind me of fall. So I think July to like autumn is going to be a really significant time for you. But I think that this is the year where things really start to come together in ways where you are not only feeling more confident navigating the third dimension, but you're feeling more confident navigating your own body and understanding what it needs and what works for you. And also letting go of the guilt and shame around succeeding and recognizing that success isn't just results. It's also about the process. I think that you're definitely getting out of your own way this year, and you're going to realize how much you love what you're doing when you're not trying to suppress your own instincts or suppress your own flow from a place of fear. And what a perfect way to end it off. It's literally surrender to the divine. So when you don't know what to do, take a deep breath and surrender what you're holding on to, and trust that if there's something you need to know, it'll be brought to you. But this is the year where you really let go of the reins and are taken to places so magical and so exciting that you realize you never had to be so on top of things and in control to begin with. You just had to trust yourself and listen. So I think this is going to be a really beautiful year for you. And while I'm sure there will be, you know, the typical ups and downs that a year holds, I think this is going to be a really positive year for you, where you're setting foundations that I think you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life. And I think that there is a turning point here where even though you will experience light and darkness in life, the tools that you're developing now will fundamentally change how you experience challenging times, and also give you so much room for abundant growth and so much room for wisdom that just allows you to thrive even further. I don't even think you're going to be afraid of challenge. I think you're going to eat challenge for breakfast and kind of enjoy it, because like you're going to be so centered. It's like, oh, it's fun. It's for, yeah. I think you're really turning into someone you can't even fathom, but that you will love more than anything. And it will be so easy to love yourself because you realize fear is no longer getting in the way of you stepping into your wholeness and embracing it. So, and you're group 1. Duh. Oh my God. Like, full circle. Like, literally, you're coming into oneness with yourself more deeply and profoundly than you ever have. And I love that for you. So, group number 1, definitely leave a little mushroom emoji or like a money emoji or something to claim this energy, or whatever you want. Whatever emoji means success to you, let me know that you got to the end of this. But if you're leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. Like I said, for the first 30 seconds, it needs to be at least that long for it to count, but I'm not a monster. I don't expect you to watch them. Please don't. Other things that you can do, liking this video is super helpful. Thank you to everyone who does that. You can subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to get to 400. That would be so cool. But also, anyway, it would just be exciting. You click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out please sign up for my email list. That is the way to be in the know and know what is going on in my world. If I ever open personal readings, it's going to be through my email list. My email list gets special little perks like random messages, moments of gratitude, nature pics, as well as fun and exciting exclusive offers, and also just the most privileged. So if you're not signed up for my email list, you should do that. You can check out other videos, ones with extendeds. You can check out merch, social media, candles. You can use code ACE10 for 10% off. You can send me love. You can leave me hype or super thanks, or my Cashapp is palehag and my PayPal is my email. Thank you to everyone who leaves me tips. It's really appreciated. I can respond to you in Cashapp. I cannot respond to you in PayPal, so I apologize. But that is all I have for you guys. And if you just want to send me love and good vibes, I'm sending you that right back. I really hope you guys have an amazing 2026. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever it is you're watching, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Wild Unknown Tarot... Oh, I thought that was a car, but oof. I didn't know what that was. That could have been a train. An upstairs, a levitating train coming at me. I don't know. That'd be wild if you're just sitting there and a train just went through. Welcome to your reading. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose this second stone and the Wild Unknown Tarot, this is going to be your reading on your 2026. So this rock has a word written on it that represents a key theme or the major theme of your upcoming year, and these oracle cards will explain how this theme will be manifesting. So for you, group 2, your key theme of 2026 is courage, which I love to see. And now I'm seeing the Cowardly Lion in my head. I really do feel like you guys are going to be kings of your forests this year. For sure, but let's see how this courage is going to manifest. So we have the Water Carrier, what really matters, reflect, reprioritize. We have the Power of Purpose. Oh, I already love this. I already love this for you guys. I'm so excited for you. And Illumination. And oh my gosh. Not minions coming up in my head. Like those Gru minions, you know. They're like banana, you know. Oh, this is gonna be a fun group. This year is gonna be fun because guess what you're not giving this year? Fucks. You're not gonna be giving them. I don't know. I do think some of this is like just a matter of maturity, but also there's a lot of things coming together this year. Number 1, you are going to find that you are too tired. You do not have the energy, not too tired, but you don't have the energy for, and are also less bothered by the meaningless nonsense that feels important in the moment that you can't really seem to let go of. That can have an effect on your day, and that can shift your mood and your consciousness and your state of empowerment. Those things are falling to the wayside, but also you are having a profound initiation into a part of your purpose here on this planet. I don't believe that one person has only one purpose. I think we have many purposes working at once, and I think that they are also things that like can change and evolve over time. But I think that there is a part of you, if you have been seeking for purpose on a deeper level from a place that is like I just want to find my thing, or I just want to like, because purpose is powerful enough to be the thing that gets you out of bed or keeps you stuck in it. Like, it really, not having a purpose, I think can be like or not feeling like you have a reason to get out of bed can just like really affect the quality of your life. And I think that you are really, but I think what's been challenging for you is that for some of you, I feel like you do have an idea of the direction of your purpose, or you have an idea, or maybe you even know what your purpose is, but the problem is that you haven't had the courage to follow it, or you've been way too afraid of what other people think, or you just haven't seemed to be able to break out of like conditioning or what feels safe or your comfort zone. But this is the year where that changes, because you are really coming into yourself, into your sovereignty, and into awareness about the importance of your path here, the importance of your purpose here, and the importance of your unique purpose that, you know, God, the universe, spirit, whatever you believe in, is calling you towards, even if it's just your own heart that you believe in. There's a powerful shifting of emotional energy that is going towards a greater pursuit, something greater than yourself this year, that's not only creating a lot of awareness within you of what matters, what's meaningful, what keeps your gears turning, if you will, what makes life worth getting out of bed for you, but also realizing the amount of spiritual support, emphasis, and empowerment behind you when you follow that purpose. This is the year where you realize what doesn't matter, and even if it's something that bothers you in the moment, it's not enough to stop you from following your path. I mean, sure, you might have people that judge you, you might have people that don't get it. I will say, as a person who is very much themselves and unfiltered on the internet, not everybody likes it, but a lot of people do, and the cool ones are the ones that I want anyway, and they're the ones that stick around. So I think what you're going to be realizing is the negativity behind, or the judgment or criticism behind what has meaning or purpose for you is not powerful enough than the depth of the meaning of what, like I said, has purpose for you. And also, I think what you're going to find is that the more you commit to what does have meaning for you, what does feel authentic to you, it's so easy for you to discard and shed, you know, misguided judgments or projections from other people, because you know yourself. And the more you know yourself, the harder it is for someone else to you recognize projection from a mile away because you know who you are. And I think on top of that, there's a powerful reprioritization of what's important to you. And also, I just literally feel like you are going to feel, there's going to be less of a charge when you feel something that makes you want to hide or mask or be inauthentic or just conform. I feel like what you're going to find is that impulse to do that, not only does it not feel good, but you actually feel resistance to it. And on top of it, the urge in general isn't even as strong as it used to be, because it's been replaced with this powerful commitment, connection, and dedication to something greater than yourself that has so much meaning. No amount of silly judgment or projection can really touch it energetically. And I think it's actually going to create a cushion for you emotionally, where you feel less affected by any dissenting opinions of what you're doing, because you recognize the power of following what's true to you, how much more enjoyable your life is, and also how much you're learning about yourself, and the fact that other people don't know what's best for you. In fact, often we don't even know what's best for us, but you are sure as hell a lot closer to knowing that than someone else. And I think what you're also going to be doing this year is realizing that in reality, I think you've always known a lot of the things that you've needed. You just haven't had the courage to advocate for yourself, or the courage to follow that direction, or put yourself out there, or take certain opportunities that life has been calling you to take for so long now. And so what I really think you're going to see, one thing you're going to see, is that you've always been capable of doing things all along, and that the path that you were designed for is perfect for you. And it's one that's also not predestined. It's one that you get to walk, and that unfolds as you go. This is a deep cut, so most of you won't know this, but if you've ever seen the Yu-Gi-Oh episodes of the Dungeon Dice Monsters, where they it's like, instead of doing cards, they do dice, and they like push the dice on the thing, and then like a monster comes out, and then like the dice unfold into a pathway. It's kind of like that, in the sense that like that's how your path's unfolding. Like your path unfolds as you evolve, and it's like, it's created by you, but also designed perfectly for you to experience more and more enlightenment around who you are, what has meaning to you, and also understanding the power of your purpose, which is literally what this card says. It's why I held back. I was like, oh, I think I'm repeating the card, and I was. But who cares? It's the truth. But also just the strength and the momentum behind endeavors done from an authentic place that have meaning to the person doing them. Nobody that lives a life devoid of meaning is going to be able to convince you that your path is wrong, because you recognize that they feel that way because they haven't found theirs yet. I also feel like you're gonna be so much, like, your spiritual growth this year, I think, is going to be astronomical. And I think it's going to be one of the things that really makes it a lot easier to step out of your comfort zone, because there's this deep awareness of the fact that you're not in this alone. There is a profound level of spiritual support around you, but also that spiritual support is working all the time to ensure that you also have the material support that you need as well, whether that is other people around you, the inspiration to ask for help, like, a stranger that just is a blessing in a moment of need. Like, things like that, I think, are going to be very powerful for you. Or when you take a risk and go outside of your comfort zone, I think you're going to find that people respond to you in ways that surprise you, where you just get the best of people. And actually, I think one belief that would be really healthy for you to have, and I think would actually be really powerful for you to have, is people want what's best for me, and people treat me well. Whether it's true or not, I feel like that belief is actually something that could just make you create a conditioning pattern around doing what's authentic for you, because there's less questioning of, well, what will the people around me think? Instead, you're like, well, people want what's best for me. And if they don't, it's because they don't want what's best for themselves. They don't realize that yet. And if they knew that this was truly best for me, they probably would. And if they don't want that, then they're probably not someone I should be concerned about to begin with, because they don't want me to thrive anyway. So I think that this is really a year of reclaiming your power, reclaiming your authority, and recognizing that you don't have to stay in the same zone of comfort you always have. Like, you've been dying to get out of it for a long time now. And I think you're finally at a point, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, to get there and have enough conviction to follow it. And I think for some of you, if you've been searching for purpose and feel like you can't find it, that's what you're receiving this year. And when you don't have it yet, just trust whatever your flow is asking you to do. Because, like, I could have never known that I would be reading tarot cards on the internet one day. I will say, when I discovered tarot, I realized I loved it so much that I really didn't care what other people thought, because it was so meaningful to me. And I feel that experience powerfully in what you are going to be finding. Like, and it really is a liberating feeling. It's just like, wow, this is so great, and I love this so much that actually nobody could dissuade me from this. Like, whatever that is for you. And I also think, like, what I was trying to say is that when I was, super mentally ill and basically, like, struggling a lot and disassociating, you know, you would think that watching hours upon hours of entertainment is a bad waste of time. But now I have a wealth of pop culture references and good taste in media, in my opinion. But I guess everyone has different opinions there. So whatever you're doing, you may not realize can come in handy later, even if it's in a niche, weird way. You know? Yes, was I dealing with a lot of mental health issues? Sure. But I was still gaining experience relevant, necessary, and meaningful for the work I do now. Where would we be? If I had not made the Shrek references in my video, Kino and I would have never met each other. Well, honestly, I'd like to believe that we probably would anyway on some other niche thing, because, like, the vibes are just there. But imagine if I hadn't seen Shrek. The implications are horrifying just in the sense of not being exposed to that media, but then on top of it, the bonding that comes from that media, powerful. You never know what silly nonsense is actually a powerful part of your journey that you will take with you as you step into a new phase of it. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get into your tarot now. I really love this deck, and I love that we're doing the Wild Unknown Tarot, because I think that you are entering a wild unknown, but instead of being afraid, I think you're realizing that you're part of this wild unknown. Like, you're not someone shaking in their boots in the jungle. You are the jungle, or the Yoink Man. Have you guys seen the Yoink Man? He's awesome. He's got great wildlife advocacy, and also angels on his body, because he's be yoinking some stuff where I'm like, sir, I like your videos. I'd like to keep watching them. Okay. So, first question. Let me just lay these bad boys out, because I forgot to do that. What will group 2's overall vibe in 2021 be? Okay. What will the overall vibe of group 2's environment and world be in 2026? What will a major highlight of group 2's 2026 be? And how can group 2 bring light to their own world in 2026 and subsequently bring light to those around them as well? Beautiful. Ooh, and I do want to say on the back of the deck, we have the Empress. So I really do think that you're coming into a greater level of healthy self-esteem, but also, like, reaching a greater level of being able to attract effortlessly what you want, and also not feeling the need to apologize for your excellence, beauty, greatness, generosity, strength of heart, strength of character, strength of spirit. And I love that, like, my lower chakras are on fire right now, because I really think that you've spent such a long time judging yourself for perceived things that aren't even true, that you've literally blinded yourself to the reality of how wonderful you are. Like, yeah, and underneath that is literally the star. Like, you are a star convincing yourself you're evil for shining, and it's like, no, actually, the people that hate stars for shining should just move somewhere with a lot of light pollution and calm down. Like, hating stars is a red flag. That's weird as hell, dude. I've never, you know what I mean? Like, anyway. Let's look at your overall vibe in 2022. This is basically just an average, a baseline. Like, of course, you're going to fluctuate and your state is going to differ. But if we were going to summarize it into one state of being, the average state that you're in, we have the Knight of Pentacles and we have Faith. So I'm going to be very, very honest with you guys. Like, this this Knight of Pentacles, I think, is very powerful, because I feel like it shows the weight of the burdens we all carry as physical beings. And I think that I don't think the clarity you're looking for is coming on January 1st, 2026. That'd be super awesome if it did, and I hope it does for you. However, your overall state of being in 2026 is going to be coming from a place of trust and faith and following the habits and consistent patterns and discipline that is supporting you in your process. With the Knight of Pentacles here, I do think that you are going to be, like, I think there's going to be a level of consistency in your world and in your energy that might not be the most exciting, but that is necessary for you to get where you need to go. So like, for example, there might be a time like this year, like you might be continuing a job that you're not very passionate about because you know that you don't know where to go yet, and it would be silly to let go of this until you have more of an idea and you're really you're not feeling called to leave yet. Like, but here's the interesting thing. It's like, I'm thinking of this has been repeating in my head the whole time I've been yapping about this. The phrase is, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And so I feel like that there is an emphasis here on the fact that in a lot of 2026, life, you're not going to be feeling the illumination and those powerful moments that wake you up. I discovered tarot on September 1st, 2019. So, or got my first tarot deck then. I don't know when I discovered it, but I got my first deck that day. So all of 2019, it took me, 9 months to discover something that would profoundly change the rest of that year and forward. So because we're looking at a year, I think that there are going to be small moments of illumination leading to much bigger ones, as well as moments of conviction, opportunities to choose yourself or choose what's safe. But also, I think that there are going to be elements of your environment that are just kind of tiring, or that require like a level of consistency, focus, and discipline that are necessary for you to continue following, just to continue establishing stability and like keep planting seeds for what's moving forward. And I feel like even intuitively, like, I don't know where I'm going, but I know this is where I'm supposed to be right now. I know this isn't forever, but this is where I need to be. I know, like, even though it's not going as quickly as I would like it to, because let's be clear, like the Knight of Pentacles is slow, you're going to be in a state where you're drawn to do things that are consistent, stable, create security, that aren't necessarily chaotic or reckless, but there's a reason for doing it. This could definitely be a time too of doing what's necessary in order to be able to do what you truly want to do. It could be something like that as well. Like you could be building a cushion, something like that. But here's the very powerful and very important thing. We have the Faith card here. You're not doing this for nothing. You're not spinning your wheels. You're not having this monotonous or like repeating time just because you're spinning your wheels. I think that there is a level of consistent expansion happening, but it's subtle and it's harder to see on a day-to-day basis. I think that your routines are shifting over time as you become aware of what you need. I also think that this just speaks to as well, likely a career or school thing that you're doing because you need to, or because it's what's paying the bills, or because it's what you've committed to, and you don't know that it's what you want to do, but like, or that you don't want to be here forever, but you don't know what you're going to do or where you're going to go. I think that is going to be something that is kind of hanging over your head. Like this Knight of Pentacles feels to me like they're carrying a burden. And I think that this year is the opportunity to recognize that what you are experiencing in the moment, even if it feels like it's taking forever, even if it does seem repetitive, you have a choice. And I believe that faith is less of a feeling and more of a choice. And faith is, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to trust that it's all going to work out. I'm just going to trust that I'm going to know what I need to know. And I'm also going to trust that I don't need to make any sudden or drastic moves unless I feel the call and it's clear to me. I think there's going to be clear times to you this year where life is asking you to keep the faith, and keep the faith means continuing forward as normal, without knowing where you're going or why. And I think that could be hard or stressful. And you might find even that ruminating about this is something that, number one, erodes faith, and number two, adds to levels of exhaustion, fear, uncertainty. but I feel like there's a part of you that's going to know when the right time, like when you don't know what to do, don't do something out of panic or fear. This is really a state of do what is going to create the most stability and consistency possible until you do know what to do, because I have a feeling that once that illumination comes and once that awareness comes, not only are the habits that you've been building for a while now, even before this year, are they going to help you, but also I think what you're going to realize is that this illumination is going to come with awareness of, oh, I'm so glad I didn't make a drastic choice. Because if you had made a drastic choice, it might have taken you off path or taken you away from what does have purpose for a longer period of time. What feels like a slower path or what feels like a boring path is actually the quickest path to getting to where you want to go without having to go back and tie up loose ends or being unable to fully commit all of yourself to what will be revealing itself to you in the upcoming year. Because I feel like right now, for some of you, you might have an idea. For others, you might have no idea. And I think it's just really interesting that this faith card looks so much like the power of purpose card. I really do think there is like, you are wrapped in spiritual and specifically angelic protection is what I'm hearing around your path and your purpose, and also confidence in yourself and confidence in what you need to do. I really do think your overall vibe is making the choice to trust when you don't know what the way forward is, and trusting that if you're meant to know, you'll receive that awareness. And the fun and exciting thing is that you will get that awareness when it's time, and you will get that illumination, and you will know. And the conviction will be so powerful. Like the truth will reach every cell in your body. It will hit you in the bone, like it will get to your bones. The truth will be in your bones so profoundly that no amount of denial, uncertainty, or questioning could change that. And it's going to be the thing that's when you're really going to feel faith. And then you're going to be like, oh yeah, this is why we choose to have faith in the midst of the unknown. The wild unknown. Puns abound. If you don't like the video for that, you're a heartless monster. I don't make the rules. I just declare them. I guess that's kind of making them. Anyway, this is definitely a powerful year where faith in yourself and faith in the midst of adversity and uncertainty and the desire for change, following that through and getting to the places of clarity that you're going to get to, it's going to be profound. It's going to be profound. And you may not always feel the spiritual support around you because you may just be really tuned in to your earthly surroundings at times. But just because you can't feel it doesn't mean it's not there. And I think that is going to be all the more evident when I think you're also going to have moments too, if you've never experienced this before, maybe you have, but you're going to notice this a lot this year, of signs and synchronicities that you didn't recognize as signs and synchronicities until hindsight, and you connect the dots and you're like, oh. I've found that I experience that a lot with like a specific like deity or goddess. Like they'll be leaving hints or just having like profound like energetic presence in my world, or like, you know, like working with me in powerful ways, but I won't realize it until like after the fact or after a long period of time where I'm like, oh my God, that was you this whole time. Like, wow, that's so cool. Thank you. Like, I feel like stuff like that is going to be happening for you. But let's see the overall vibe of your environment. So for that, we have, is that the Six of Swords? Okay, yeah, that's the so we have the Six of Swords. And we have Dagas, Awakening and Breakthrough. This is beautiful. So, and here's what I love as well. Let's mess this up so I can make a point. Look at how these cards kind of flow into one another. You are focused on forward movement this year, despite maybe feeling at times like you're not moving forward as much as you would like to. But your environment is actually creating the circumstances, and your focus on moving forward is actually creating the circumstances for you to move forward. You are focusing on the light this year. Like, and what I mean by that, especially like, and what I mean by light is like truth and your truth. So like truths of like, I don't know what I'm here to do. I don't know what's happening, but I trust my ability to navigate it. And I trust that I'm being led to the places that are the most empowering and enjoyable for me. And so when we look at your environment, like when you get this clarity and this awareness, I think one thing that's going to get you back into this Knight of Pentacles state as well is you're going to realize how this awareness leads to, okay, like this isn't just a walk in the park, like there still is work. But here's the interesting thing is your environment is creating opportunities for you to move on from your past in ways that have maybe weighed on you, or ways in which that have left you feeling too insecure to take risks, or feeling like you're not worthy of taking risks, or just leaving you struggling with your self-esteem. I feel like you're going to have experiences in your environment where you're going to be like, oh, this is not about me. This is the wisdom that I just needed. Like this was just trying to get me to see this whole time. Like actually, the Labyrinth movie with Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie, you know, like the whole point of that movie is comes down to a realization at the end of it, and a realization of where one's power lies. And I think for you, your environment is creating opportunities for you to not only reclaim your power, but also recognize what is useless to worry about or focus on. And on top of that, waking up to realities, opportunities, and awareness that will create not only more stability within yourself, more awareness about who you are and what you want, but also opportunities to follow and opportunities to have conviction in this newfound purpose that you are moving towards, or that you are gaining greater clarity on. Like I think that there's going to be like throughout the year, I think there's going to be multiple opportunities for forward momentum and healing that come from a place of you leaving the past in the past and letting go and moving on. I also think though this could be a year where you move or you do a lot of traveling. That could be very powerful for you and impact what you decide to do. Because, you know, the Six of Swords does indicate movement and travel. So you could find that your environment asks you to travel more, and that might be something that's unwanted, but then you find actually it's everything you needed to see things you weren't seeing before. I feel like no matter what though, even if you're not traveling a lot physically, I do think that your consciousness is traveling to a whole different dimension and leaving a lot of stuff that maybe made you feel trapped or afraid in the past. I think that you're going to find that you really get to experience the awareness of what a fresh start can actually feel like, and how powerful it can be when you let yourself like have a fresh start, when you let yourself have a brand new beginning. Because I think not only do you have the ability for that, I think your environment is going to be providing opportunities for it. And I also think in general, in ways in which your environment has, I think this year especially, if your environment has been showing you a lot of what you don't want, I think that in 2026 your environment is going to start showing you what to do about that. Also, what you do want, and opportunities to move forward towards breakthroughs, towards the awakenings you've been looking for. And I think that everything in your environment in the year 2026 serves. But the only thing that I think will hold you back is when you get stuck, or when you feel stuck in a place that's like, actually, I'm taking that back. I'm taking back the stuck thing. The only time stuckness will serve you is if you're stuck in a place that is having more power over you than you have over yourself, and it's an opportunity for you to see what aspect within you is vulnerable to this environment or this experience that makes you feel disempowered. And once you see it, and once you're aware of, oh, this is a vulnerable part of me, this is what I need to do, like this is how I need to support myself, you're going to move forward and move beyond it easily. Anytime you feel stuck, trust that there's some awareness here that will lead to a breakthrough that will help you move forward. It just takes time for you to trust it. But definitely trust and believe that things are gaining momentum, and the timing of things I do feel like is going to be different for all of you. So there is a level of patience. But let's go ahead and see a major highlight of your 2026. I feel like I've been saying 2024. And some of you are like, yeah, girl, you have. It's driving me nuts. And I'm like, sorry. It drives me nuts having a brain that that knows what things are, but struggles to insert the right names for them. We all have our struggles. Anyway, major highlight of 20. Ooh. And we have nobility and self-esteem. There is nothing more noble and there is nothing more noble. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. So I think not only are you getting your mojo back, but you're discovering a level of mojo within you that I don't think you realized you even had. Like, it's really interesting because group number 1 also got the Ace of Wands in this position. And I feel like that's really, I just find that really exciting because that is a sign that for 2 groups here, you're getting your energy back and you're experiencing it in different ways. But for you, I feel like you're experiencing passion and conviction for your path, for yourself, and for your own self-actualization. I also feel like you are treating yourself with dignity, grace, and compassion that you haven't treated yourself with in the past because maybe you felt like you didn't deserve it, or you were too busy being ashamed or embarrassed of not receiving that from others, or not being understood by others, that you felt like you didn't deserve it to begin with. But you're realizing that's not true. You're gaining your fire and you're gaining your spark back in a way where you have so many opportunities to assert yourself, stand up for yourself, and be an empowered version of yourself instead of letting others take the wind out of your sails or deflate you. You know, it makes me think of a story, and I don't know if I should tell it, but I will. It's about my mom. She's a Libra moon queen. She's very peace and love vibes. She hates conflict, and she just wants everyone to get along. I have never seen that woman ever in my life create an issue with anyone. She is truly like I just want to get along. Like, and at the time, she worked at a place where someone was bullying her really hard. This was when she was younger, in her early 20s. And she used to just take it all the time, just take it on the chin and let this woman talk shit. And one day, well, things changed. Well, essentially, my mom got married to my dad, and the place she was working was linked to the family business that my dad's a part of. So the woman was, running her mouth like she did. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize, I forgot you're and then spelled my last name out, her new last name out. I forgot you're that now. And then my mom just looked at her and goes, that's right. And don't you forget it. And the look on her face, she shut up. And it was like one of the few times my mom stood up for herself, but she realized, like, man, fuck you. I'm not going to take your shit anymore. And she said it in a way that was concise and not as vulgar as I would. Just, that's right, and don't you forget it. And that level of conviction, it solved all her problems. That woman never tried it with her again, which I think is very telling. Because sometimes people act that way because nobody calls them out and they're afraid of conflict. And when you really just stand up for yourself and make people look stupid because they're behaving like imbeciles, it's very easy to shut them down. And I think you're going to discover that. I think you're going to have the level of courage and conviction to not put up with people's shit, and to also not put up with the shit that people fling at you from a place of disempowerment, or from a place of, well, why do you do this? Or why do you get that? I don't get this. And it's like, I don't know, dude, but you're certainly not going to get it, like, whining and not doing anything. Like, I think that there's an experience here for you where you're just going to be realizing, man, I don't have to put up with people's shit. It doesn't matter, like, what your circumstances in life are. You are deserving of basic human decency and respect. And if you're giving that to others, like, that's all you can do. If others can't give that to you, do what you want. Because honestly, I think that we need to match people's energy more often. One thing I will say is that I don't waste my time interacting with negative people very often, but they seem to really hate it when you match their energy and be really offended by it. And I think that that's really funny, because it's like, do you even realize? Like, I don't think they do, but it's our job to keep holding up the mirror, right? Or just tune them out. I think that's probably the better solution, but they don't learn. And sometimes people need to find out. And I think that in a lot of ways, you're going to be finding out, because you're going to find that like you just have a level of like balls and conviction that a more fearful, less secure version of you would never have. But I feel like you're really standing on business and trusting in your own intuitive nudges that are like, yo, this isn't cool, or like, someone needs to shut this person down. Like, I think that you're going to be realizing, like, anyone that tries to deny your sovereignty, that tries to shame you for your authenticity, or that tries to put you in a box or treat you as a role or a label or just something other than a human being, I feel like you are just going to see it for what it is and either shut them down, which is going to be really healing and fulfilling, or you're going to see the truth of it and gain more conviction in yourself, or you just realize, wow, I'm not even affected by that anymore. Let's see what else I can do. Let's see how far I can go. You're going to have so many opportunities this year, number one, comma, T-O, not T-W-O. You're going to have the opportunity to see over and over how claiming your power and claiming your sovereignty is the only way to truly feel like you have it, and also to realize that if you don't claim it, you may never get it. And I think that you're also realizing how empowering and how encouraging it is, and how much easier it is to be open to life, be open to new opportunities, to be open to the unknown, because you trust yourself to navigate it, and you know that whatever happens, it's not a reflection of your value or your worth. It's just a reflection. If anything, it's just awesome that you go for things, and it's a reflection of like, wow, I was brave enough to go and do this thing, and me a year ago would probably shun this opportunity because I would be afraid of failure. And either you succeed or do well in the opportunity, or like the opportunity is great, or you don't, or you do experience failure in the opportunity. And guess what? You succeed in both outcomes, because in both you realize, number one, you can handle failure better than you thought, and that number two, failure brings about wisdom that is so profound and beneficial that it protects you from a lot of it in the future. Because number one, you're no longer afraid of facing it. And number two, you have tools and strategies and awareness that you didn't have before. It makes you brave enough to go after things you typically wouldn't. And I think you realize as well that when you do honor your courage and go for things when you feel the fear and do it anyway, it really makes you a lot more confident in yourself, because you realize true confidence doesn't come from knowing that you're strong enough to handle things. It comes from a willingness to try and a willingness to face challenges and see what happens and trust yourself along the way. I think that you have a level of risk assessment that is healthy enough to not make things to not make decisions that are so courageous it's almost stupid. I don't think you're going to be doing that, but I do think this courage is really going to help you take action and create forward momentum in ways that you have been dreaming of and dying for a while now. And I think also you're going to find that opportunities to step into purpose and step into authenticity are not only going to make you feel really good about who you are, but it's also going to make you have a lot more compassion for yourself in realizing like, wow, there really wasn't anything wrong with me. I'm so sorry to myself that I believed that like there were things wrong with me, because you're going to be seeing your path and being like, oh, I was designed perfectly for this, and it just took me a while to get here, you know? It's like you're a fish being judged on your ability to climb a tree, and you've finally just been led to the perfect waters for you to swim in. It's like, oh, no wonder I had such a hard time. And I think it's just going to be really exciting, energizing, and motivating to be like, yes, I've got the fuel, the spiritual, the energetic juice to like go after life in an exciting way. And I think that it's going to make you just really fall in love with who you are, and also feel a lot more conviction and courage towards following the unknown. So I love to see that. Now we need to look at how when things are challenging, when you're struggling in this upcoming year, or just when you want to add more light to your life, or inspire, or add fuel to your inner spark. These are ways to bring light to your own life that will, by proxy, bring light to the world and others around you, but it's not something that requires martyrdom or self-sacrifice. This is by giving to yourself. This is how it creates a positive butterfly effect. So for that, we have the 8 of Swords, and we have Sidereal. I am perfect and complete as I am. So this is a chant, and chants, you can do them in different ways. I like to chant with mala beads, but you can just say chants a few times. Even that is powerful. But when you are stuck in your head and you're stuck in fear, because this is quite literally self-created. The 8 of Swords is mental anguish and mental prisons that we create ourselves. I think that when you are stuck in that mental prison, or you're feeling unsure or frozen in fear, this chant of I am perfect and complete as I am, Sidereal. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I highly recommend Googling it if you do not, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, because like I make no promises. I feel like remembering your own perfection and how complete you already are, like there's nothing you need to figure out, there's nothing you need to change, there's no one you need to become. You're already this monarch butterfly. Like you don't need to be in your cocoon. You've already created this transformation, and I feel like there's a lot of powerful upgrades happening in the lower chakras for you this year, specifically the Earth Star chakra, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus chakra. I think that you're really stepping into your sovereignty, your own personal empowerment, and a level of cultivation of your own identity and of self that is not only freeing, empowering, and liberating, but it's also aligned with your authenticity in ways that does not cut you off from exploring the expansive nature of yourself. And I think recognizing how perfect and complete you are as you are, and practicing that and doing that chant will help others feel more comfortable with themselves and realize like, well, if group 2 can do it, I can do it too. And group 2 is right. Like life's too short to, hide who we are or hide what we want to do. Life's too short not to follow what we want to do. I think that you could be a great source of inspiration and really help show others too that they don't have to stay small and stay trapped. But with that being said, group 2, I'm going to go ahead and finish your reading off by looking at some guidance cards for you. These will represent how to navigate your 2026 as easily and stress-free as possible and not make things harder for yourself unnecessarily. So we have I'm more than my struggles. And I really do think as well, in the new year, in the upcoming new year, I feel like you might be struggling a little bit like to have faith. I feel like maybe the first phase, especially in those dark, January nights and stuff like that, you might be finding like it's hard to feel a positive sense of self-worth because you're feeling like lost and frustrated. But I think it's important to remember when you are in that place, when things do feel desolate and just don't feel great, that you're more than your struggles and that you are not them, and that your worth is not defined by them. But we also have choose. You choose how you feel, react, and perceive everything in your life. Choose to only see through love and positivity. But I think more than anything, choose. I think that faith is a choice. And I think that you're going to be given that opportunity to choose every day. And every time you have a fear or a doubt, you have the opportunity to choose to have faith anyway. And I think you're going to find that the more you do that, the easier it is to know when your intuition is telling you to do something, or when your intuition is telling you to stay the course, like this is where I need to be. Because your intuition is on point. And speaking of, we have the third eye chakra. So, and oh my God, and we have the theme of sovereignty. I love when I'm on point. So the trigger statement is, what will they think? And the true statement is, I navigate through life with ease. Oh my gosh. I love when the cards confirm what I was channeling. Now you must claim your energetic independence. Cut the cords to lower vibrations. It is time to ascend. So yeah, this is really about sovereignty for you. And I think the times where you will feel like you're struggling most are the times when your agency is not fully yours, when you are either giving your power away or you're unconsciously allowing someone to have power over you, or when you are valuing a perspective and an opinion that, number one, doesn't align with your truth, but number two, takes the wind out of your sails, and number three, maybe even validates your fears. All of those are going to be things that take the wind out of your sails, make you feel less sovereign. And so that's when it's really important in those moments to recognize it. And I really think one of the powerful experiences of this year is you're learning not to care what they will think, because if they have a problem with you navigating through life with ease in a way that works for you, they're probably not people that deserve to have the privilege of observing your life journey. Okay, let's see what else. Let go of the fearful stories you are telling yourself. Stay in the moment, focus on solutions, and celebrate every baby step forward. Well, I think you're going to be doing that well. And even when you feel the fear, surrender the need to listen to what it tells you to do, and try to ask courage, what are you going to tell me to do? Sometimes too, you may not have the courage to do the thing, to do what courage is asking you to, but you may have the courage to avoid what fear is asking you to do, and that is powerful on its own. But finally, we have the energy is gaining momentum, and I feel like this is really powerful. One thing I do want to tell you is this year you do need to be careful, because when you fall into a negative spiral, whatever energy you are in, wherever you are at, it has the potential to gain momentum. So the more you lean into courage, into faith, into optimism, into belief, into trust, into all those things, you're going to find that those energies build. But when you lean into insecurity, when you lean into self-criticism, when you lean into negative judgment, you're going to find that that builds as well. So fear has the opportunity to build. Anything really has the opportunity to build. So I think chanting could be especially powerful for you, because it could be something that helps you get out of your mind. But when you really feel like your mind is doing a number on you, do anything to get into your body, whether it's dancing, exercising, going for a walk, talking to a friend that makes you really happy, just anything that will get you out of your head and into the world, interacting with it, I think will be really helpful. And I think it will slow down and also completely eliminate any of that negative momentum from getting worse, and just keep you from having to do more course correction in the future. Especially because the more you lean into the light this year, the more that will build, and the more you will recognize how you can cultivate it when you're struggling to feel it too. So, pile number 2. That is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, at least for the first 30 seconds. I know that sounds arbitrary, but YouTube doesn't count you watching it unless you watch at least the first 30 seconds. But honestly, if you can afford YouTube Premium and you watch a lot of YouTube, I would just recommend doing that, because not only is it better to watch these uninterrupted, but I think ad-free YouTube is worth it. I think the price of it is a little bit absurd, but just not having ads on YouTube, I find it to be worth it for me. So if it is something that's doable, I would recommend that. But if it's not doable, I recommend putting that bad boy on mute and just doing something else for a second. Because there's plenty, I know you have more than one screen on your person or around you. So there's that. Also, you could just do a mini breathing you could literally do anything. And all of that is really helpful, because it allows me to continue doing what I'm doing without thinking about pivoting to something else, or like going back to school, or having to use sponsors and stuff. I kind of want to be my own only sponsor, unless there's a really valuable one that I think is great, but I've never taken one so far, and I'm kind of proud that I haven't, and I kind of want to keep that going. So we'll see. Other ways to support: liking the video is super helpful if you want others to see this, to help others see this, to let me know what you guys are enjoying. Comment down below, let me know how it resonates, or just how you plan on empowering yourself. You can comment a sunflower or an emoji that you think represents courage, or an emoji that you think represents power. Like, what is that for you? You can check out other videos, ones with extendeds. You can subscribe. If you haven't already, you should. A lot of you watch and you don't subscribe. And the thing is like being subscribed, not only will you know when I upload videos, but also like just because you don't want to watch it then doesn't, like, it'll stay in the back of your mind and you're more likely to see it. Sign up for my email list if you're not signed up for it. That is how to stay in the loop. And the people on my email list get email list privileges. If I ever open personal readings, it will only be open to people on my email list, nobody else. You get random messages from me, pics of nature, offers, exclusive access, and exclusive opportunities that nobody else gets. If you want the best privileges of being a part of this channel, sign up for my email list. Website coming soon as well, which I'm excited about. You can also check out merch social media. You can candles, Ace of 10 for 10% off. You can leave me a tip, hype, super thanks, Cashapp, palehag, PayPal, my email. You can, I think I already said, watch videos with extendeds, or just watch other videos, share me with a friend, or you can just send me love, because I'm sending you love right back. And I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. And I'm really excited for your 2026, because I feel like in the moment it might not be the most exciting, but this time next year, you're going to be looking back and realize you are a completely different person and you changed before your eyes without even realizing it. Like, I think it's going to be, actually, I would really encourage you to write your state of being and how you feel now, or like in the beginning of the new year, and then do it again at the end of the year and see how much has changed. I think you will be shocked, and all of it will come from you trusting the process and flowing with what you know. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you for sending me love back. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this. I hope you have an amazing 2026, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the 3rd rock and the 8th house tarot, isn't there something called like the 3rd rock from the sun? I don't know. I've never seen it, so clearly I don't know. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. One song that is relevant to you that has been playing in my head, or relevant to your year, is Sisters of Avalon by Cyndi Lauper. You might want to look that up. I do not remember what any of the lyrics are beyond Sisters of Avalon. But that's there if you feel drawn to look it up. Now, to start, we are going to look at the word on the back of this rock, or on the front of it, I guess. And this word is going to represent a key theme that you're going to be experiencing throughout the year of 2026 for you. So your key theme for 2026 is freedom, and we love to see it. So let's look at these oracle cards, as these are going to elaborate how the energies of freedom are going to be manifesting this year, or examples of how it will be. So we have Lady of the Lake, new beginnings, something is about to happen. We have willing release and power. This is awesome. I mean, this is a year of liberation for you, truly. And actually, as well, what I really see is a year of rebirth as well. You might find that you're really drawn to themes of transformation and rebirth, or like animals or symbols of transformation and rebirth. So like, I was thinking, you know, a phoenix, obviously it's a mythological creature, but still, they're real in Harry Potter. They got a real phoenix for that. I don't know what that urge was about. I guess I'm releasing all need for a filter in this group. But let's be real, I do that in every group. I see you truly having a fresh start in this year. Now, I don't think that fresh start will be something that happens on January 1st at 12 a.m., but I do think that you are going to be essentially undergoing a process this year where I do actually feel like the first half is going to be about release and about really letting go of the past, cutting ties. And one thing that I see here as well is letting go of karmic cycles that you've been trapped in for a long time. Also, I think karmic cycles that you didn't willingly create, but that you inherited because you were born into them, I think those are also being released this year, because you have the power, the consciousness, the sovereignty, the capability, the desire, and the belief possible to free yourself. And I think that a lot of these things have been a long time coming. And I feel like for some of you, if you find yourself crying as I'm talking, or just like feel a huge weight lift off your chest, like, please take that as confirmation that like this is your message, and that this year will be a year of release for you. You're not going to be, everything that you are carrying right now, you are not going to be carrying with you throughout the year. Your load is going to get lighter and lighter. Not only that, but as you begin to release, I think that you're going to be astonished at how much stronger you feel. And a lot of that is actually coming from a reclamation of self, because I feel like as you're releasing things and releasing things that are not self energy throughout the year, you're calling back true elements of your being. And I think that you are going to find that your energy and your spirit is just stronger this year. And also your belief in yourself and the recognition of how capable you are is becoming apparent as well. I also think that this is going to be a year where you do have a very powerful, fresh new beginning. And if there's a lot of aspects of your life that you love and don't want to change, I don't think there's new beginnings in these areas. I think there's new beginnings in how you see life in the world. If there are new beginnings that you are really trying to integrate this year, whether it's moving to a new place, starting a new job, following a new career path, or starting a new lifestyle, finding a relationship, trying a new type of relationship, whatever it may be, you're going to be experiencing that this year. And I also see as well a lot of unapologetic energy about you this year, where you're really letting go and releasing what you've been holding on to unnecessarily that you felt like you've needed to out of guilt. But also, I feel like any ways in which you've felt bound to the people in your life, or bound to obligation, bound to things out of like what you perceive to be honor or duty, or just an inability to let go, or like an inability to like move forward, those things are going to be losing their hold and their grip on you. And I also think that you're going to be waking up to all these possibilities and all these things that you can do that you never realized you had the power and the freedom to do to begin with. And I think it's not that you were never capable of making these things happen. It's just, I honestly feel like part of you didn't even realize that you could. Like, this is the year where this is the year of realizing things. You're going to be realizing so many things. Your real eyes, IEYES, are going to realize real lies. How's that? How's that for some free wisdom? If you don't leave a like for that, you're heartless. Realize. That's all I gotta say about that. And your real eyes are gonna be realized in your perspective that might be told to you, and that are in your belief system, that have been keeping you disempowered, stuck in the past, and waiting for something new to begin. Like, I'm hearing that Disney Rapunzel song where she's like, when will my life begin? I feel that's you, and you're realizing like this is the year where you let go of the parameters and factors that made you believe that your life couldn't start, and you're really doing what you want to do and using your power to not only release shame, guilt, just things that have been weighing you down, that have been in your metaphorical backpack that you've been carrying. And instead of realizing you don't need the backpack, and you can just walk lighter and more freely into this upcoming year, I think you're gonna find that there's a lot of magic waiting for you this year, especially at the tail end of the year, where so much of your consciousness and your just conscious perception was aware and focused and centered around like maintaining some sort of balance, or just, it's like a lot of your focus had to be pulled to the past and pulled to addressing issues that arose. And I feel like you're kind of going, this is like the year where you go from operating within a deficit to reaching a neutral place, and then starting to head in a positive direction. It's like, I feel like you've been good at getting to a neutral place, but then you fall back into like places of deficit because you get stuck in patterns or like past ways of thinking, and you just kind of forget you're that bitch. And I mean that bitch positively as a term of endearment, and also it's gender neutral, so I don't care if you're like a giant big burly masculine he him man, you're still that bitch. Like, don't forget it. The thing is, this is the year where you're no longer just going to be taking 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. You're taking 2 steps forward, you're pausing, and then you're taking 3 steps forward, and then you're taking 1 step back, and then you're taking 5 steps forward. And there's a level of positive momentum where the things in the past that made you feel trapped or thwarted your positive momentum, you're recognizing them, and you're also not falling into the traps or spirals that you used to fall into when these things arose. And really, you are learning how to shift from being your own worst enemy to your own best friend. And I'm really excited for this for you, because I think one thing you're going to find is that it's really easy to like you when you're not fighting yourself all the time and when you're not suppressing your natural instincts. So feeling the freedom to just flow with what actually feels good for you, and to actually have mental bandwidth to pay attention and to even think about things like dreaming of the future you want, of paying attention to sweet things in your present moments, like recognizing, validating, and acknowledging parts of you that maybe you haven't recognized are really wonderful, that you now are acknowledging, like, wow, you know, now that I'm not looking at myself through this lens of shame, like, it's really incredible how I've been carrying myself all these years without realizing it. Like, I think you're really gonna be in shock and awe, actually, at the person you are when you feel free enough to be them, and you recognize you have the power to cultivate security in that person no matter what environment you're in. So I think it's pretty fitting that you guys chose the 8th house tarot, because the 8th house is all about transformation. You might want to see what's transiting your 8th house this year and see if there's anything interesting happening there. I know there's a lot of wonderful astrologers like K Moon Astro and My Moon Girl, and Miss Charlotte Astrology that would be happy to help you with your charts. Shout out to all of those girlies. They are some of my favorite humans. But we are going to go ahead now and start diving a bit more deeply and looking at things more deeply. So also, any songs that really just make you feel empowered to do your own thing and fuck the rest, any song with that vibe, I think it's going to be an anthem for you this year. Because this year really is about like true liberation and freeing yourself from any sort of self-imposed or unconsciously imposed bindings that may be holding you back. Sorry, y'all, I need some water. Okay, so let's lay out your oracles really quickly that go with each corresponding thing. So the first question we're asking is, what will group 3's overall vibe be in 2026? What will group 3's overall vibe be in 2026? What will the overall vibe of group 3's environment be like in 2026? What will be a major highlight of group 3's 2026? And how can group 3 bring light to their life and subsequently the lives of those around them in 2026? Ooh, I just want to note that we do have the 9 of Pentacles on the back of the deck. So I do feel like you are going to be just like this woman, moisturized and unbothered by the end of the year. I promise you that. I promise you that. You're going to be feeling stable and secure in who you are. And I also want to mention the 9 of Pentacles came out in another group. And I really do, and like 2 repeating cards that have been here so far have been the Ace of Wands and the 9 of Pentacles. And I find these energies to be very interesting, considering how much they go against the greater collective narratives percolating in the collective consciousness right now. And I think that just goes to show the magic and the power of sovereignty, and also the necessity of people being in their sovereign place and still, like, I don't know, just doing their best to live life and thrive with the circumstances put out for them, because we need people like that doing that to help the people who do not have enough sovereignty yet to be able to see their own light, see their own truth, and also be a proactive part of making this world a better place, instead of just crying about the fact that it's on fire. You know what I mean? We gotta cry about the fact it's on fire until we have enough energy, momentum, understanding, personal power to do something, you know, about it, right? Or have the maturity to recognize where our energy is best placed. That is something that I think many of us are going to be doing this year, is really reprioritizing how much time and focus and energy we give to draining sources that don't motivate us, inspire us, or create any positive change. So, looking at your overall vibe in 2026, we have the Knight of Cups and we have Hunger, which is honestly so beautiful. I don't see this hunger as literal. I really hope it is not. I would not take it literally, because it's not meant to be taken literally. Listen, I'm gonna call myself out. I accidentally took too many edibles last night, and so my mouth is kind of dry, and that's why my voice is hoarse. And there's a horse right here. So one thing I'll be doing in 2026 is trying to pay attention to what I ingest. Speaking of hunger, that's so funny. You are going to be in a state where, number one, like, this just reaffirms what I was already seeing. You are falling in love with yourself again. And I think that you're going to be realizing how emotionally starved you've been, and how needing to be in survival mode, or how just like prioritizing obligation all the time, prioritizing what you think is important all the time, and neglecting yourself has created a level of deficiency within you. And I think that throughout this year, you're going to be recognizing what you need, and you're actually going to find that meeting those needs is not only fun, but also it's exciting, it's enjoyable, it feels really good, and it helps you approach life from a more positive perspective. Not only that, though, I feel like this hunger is speaking to something very important. Hunger leads to action and to want. And I think that when we're comfortable and when we're secure and when things are going well and our life is full, it's not really easy to take action and move forward, and it's just easy to do nothing. It's just easy to bask in the security of what you've cultivated for yourself. And so I think that this is the year where you realize, unless you step outside of your comfort zone, and unless you factor your own needs, your own desires, and also what's lighting you up and what's fulfilling you emotionally, if you don't put that in the picture, you're going to be starving, like emotionally. You're going to be very unhappy, and recognize how unsustainable and how important it is to nourish the parts of you that need to be fed in order for you to see the love in life, and to feel excited by your own life, and to be and to have the like physical reminder of why it's so important to like feed that love into yourself. I also think, though, if you are dealing, because like, let's be honest, there's a lot in collective conversation right now around, you know, body image and things like that. I think you could really be falling in love with your body and falling in love with the concept of health, and not bodily aesthetic, and just recognizing how beautiful it is, like, that your body works so hard to like sustain you and nourish you and nurture you. And I think you're gonna find too that like any attempts to counteract any sort of like harmful narratives in your head around things like that, not only will you find that it's becoming easier for you to treat yourself well, You might even find that you might find like really great resources this year, whether it's counseling or support. I really would recommend, like, if there's anything beyond metaphor here, that you really look into seeking help or therapy if that's an option for you, or seeking support in some sort of way, because I do think it will be a powerful and profound form of healing for you around nourishment and around like recognizing just how showing ourselves love and care can look very different for all of us, but you know, giving ourselves what we need, even when, you know, there's a voice in our head that tells us we shouldn't, or that we don't deserve that, not letting that have power over us and doing what's best for us, feeling good in your body and feeling nourished is going to be very powerful for you. And also, I think, help counteract any self-destructive desires you may have. But I would highly recommend getting therapy as well, or just really seeking help or support, because I think that you are struggling like with anything that is inhibiting your ability to enjoy life and like just feel good in your body. And that's not something you feel like you can tackle on your own. Like, I think you're going to find that seeking support is a very loving thing to do, not only towards yourself, but also you realize as well, like, the shame wants to stay hidden. Sharing stuff about your life is the perfect antidote to shame, or just sharing yourself with people you trust. Like, it's the perfect antidote to shame, because you realize like there was nothing to be ashamed of in the first place. That whole long rant to circle back and say that this is a year where if you are not nourishing and nurturing yourself, you're going to feel it, you're going to know it, and you are going to feel the consequences of that. You are going to be less excited about life. You might find that your mental space is less ideal. Your stress levels, your physical health, they may fall by the wayside. But what you'll find is when you put a little bit into yourself, it's going to go a long way. And I think you're also going to be freeing yourself from the perceptions of others, or the fears of being perceived by others in certain ways that have trapped you. And also, I think you're just going to be hungry for life again. Like, you're going to have a lust for life again, a lust for experiences, and the desire for more. You know, if you felt like your life is too full to even think about manifesting, or you're too overwhelmed by the present to even think about the future, this is the year where that problem comes to a head, to be released, and it allows you to catch up to your actual present and be an active creator in your present, and be led from this emotionally fulfilling, enjoyable, exciting place, rather than from this place of guilt and survival mode, and like just the need to like get to the end of the week, just get it done, like we just need to do what we need to do. Like, this is the year where you stop being fueled by shame, by neglect, by self-doubt, and instead you are being fueled by excitement, creative fulfillment, love, empowerment, things that you've always wanted to be fueled by, but you never really knew how to consciously access in ways that were sustainable and easy for you. You're developing those habits this year. And I think what you'll also find is that the more you nourish yourself, the more you're going to realize, well, wow, no wonder it was such a struggle for me to reach this point, or release XYZ. Like, I literally didn't have the energy or capacity to do it the way that things were happening in my life. So now we're going to look at your environment in 2026, and this is less likely to be something that you can control, but I think it's good to look at, in the sense that you can be prepared to know like what is not self energy that you may be affected by, or how your environment may be creating opportunities for evolution. So yeah, we have the 5 of Swords, and we have release and let go. This makes so much sense. So circling back to what I was discussing about, you know, just a lot of unhealthy and self-destructive things becoming popular and mainstream again, that's gonna continue. And instead of letting that feed the self-destructive parts of you, or you're shutting out the noise. You're shutting out the noise that cuts you off from the light of your own heart and the light of the spirit and earth around you. I really feel like you're releasing any and all harmful narratives that make you feel like people aren't trustworthy, I'm not deserving of love, I'm not acceptable as I am. Anything of that nature, I think, is ready to be released. But also, I think as well, anything within your environment that reinforces harmful thoughts or thoughts of insecurity or thoughts of I'm not good enough or thoughts of unnecessary competition or it's a dog-eat-dog world, you're realizing that doesn't have to be my consciousness. And actually, I'm a lot happier when it isn't. People are free to do that and have that be their level of consciousness and live their life that way, but it's not for me. And like, you are just on a different vibe from a lot of other people. And I think that you're going to find that not only do you feel so much more powerful when you do release it and actively reject it and just say, no, that narrative's not for me. Like, you know, I don't care if some people are okay with, like, you know, for example, bringing body shaming back. I'm not, it's not cool. That's really sad. Like, I see that for what it is. It's just a projection of someone else's insecurities and their own body shame. And they're trying to externalize it in a way that makes them feel better about themselves. Like, you're seeing point blank the wounds and the roots and the origins of the behaviors that lie within yourself that you see in others, and also recognizing, like, yeah, people are going to think these things. People are going to be shallow. They're going to be callous. They're going to be envious. They're going to be jealous. They're going to be miserable and miserly. But I don't have to be that way. And also, I don't have to accept it from them or let it be a part of my experience, because I promise you guys there are going to be plenty of people that are happy to rain on your parade this year and that will be happy to recruit you to their misery party. But I think anytime you accept that invitation, you're going to be led back to, oh, wow, this sucks. Oh, wow, I feel trapped in parts of myself that I don't like being in. Not for me. This is not for me. I'm letting go. And I think also you're going to be really unapologetic about just letting that ish go. Yeah. You're going to realize what isn't helpful for you, what isn't creating a healthy level of consciousness, what isn't supporting a positive mindset, or at the very least, a mindset that is empowering to you, and you're letting go of it. I'm really, honestly, I do just have to say, like, I'm really proud of everyone here. Like, if you're here and you're watching this reading, it's obvious that, like, you have a level, like, of strength within you that I think is not the norm. And while I don't think it's a good thing to have to be strong, I think that it takes strength and a lot of character to not want to succumb to things, and also to have compassion for yourself when you do, and be willing to keep going anyway. I think it's badass. But let's see a highlight of your 2026. So, yay! So we have nasturtium, victory and conquest. He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still. Hell yeah. That's what you're doing this year. This is the year where you're taking your power back from all the unworthy sources who, whether you realized it or not, made you believe that they were more powerful than you or that they had power over you. This is the year where you overcome yourself. You really start to actually feel like you're in the driver's seat of your own life and your own body and your own consciousness, rather than your unconscious wounding or anything that might be at play within you. Not only that, though, you're truly taking a leap of faith and having a fresh start in life where you are not letting life control you. You are not letting life decide what is possible for you. And you're also not letting life dictate what you are deserving of anymore. This is the year where you follow and embrace your own chaos and realize, number one, that's so fucking fun. But also, number two, feeling young or feeling old are states of being. And I think what you're about to realize is you're probably going to be the youngest you've ever felt this year. And it's going to freak you out, I think. And part of that is going to come into, number one, I think you are, like, I've seen this as a trend. A lot of us are putting more effort and care into our physical bodies, just paying more attention to them and trying to be better to them. I think that you are no exception to this. I think that one thing that I feel really called to recommend to you specifically is just stretching, like morning stretching and stretching at night. I feel like that will be very like, I feel like it's just a way to get into your body that I think would feel really good for you, that doesn't really necessarily require you to get in exercise clothes or do anything that requires a lot of exertion. I think stretching could just feel really good for you and just like be a practice to help you start getting into and feeling your body. I also feel like, though, one of the highlights of this year as well is that you're going to have new beginnings and inspiration and ideas and dreams and pathways open up to you that I can't tell you about right now, because they are about as unique and chaotic as the Uranus planet on the Fool card. There is a level of what's happening for each of you is unique, and because this is a collective reading, that's part of it. But I think that there are going to be desires that you have this year, or opportunities that arise this year that you would have never thought you would even want to take, that you are now drawn to or excited by. I feel like you are really overcoming the parts of yourself that you feel like have been causing you to sell yourself short or shoot yourself in the foot. And not only that, but you're setting out on a new journey where you're empowered and centered, and you are, and even if you don't know what you want, you know what you don't want, you know what you won't put up with, and you are ready for the next step forward. And I literally just saw this sweet little bird like land on a branch, and then he just hopped off the side, and he didn't even take his wings up. Like she just literally, it's just now happened. Like he just popped off the branch so casually. Like it literally looked like he was taking a leap of faith the same way you were. And I think you don't even need your wings, because you know you'll fly when you need to. Like the level of confidence and trust you're going to be cultivating in yourself this year, I think is priceless and so valuable. And people are going to wonder what your secret is. And your secret is truly just not being your own worst enemy anymore. I love to see it. So that being said, let's go ahead and see how you can bring light to your life this year, and subsequently light to those around you. So this is not something that you are doing in a self-sacrificial way. This is more so how can, like, when you need a source of joy or a source of light, you know, things are just really tough. I think that this is a way for you to bring that light back. I got distracted. One thing about the environment thing that I just want to make sure I reiterated is, like, your environment is not going to be less triggering in 2026, or less uncomfortable, or less negative, or less like problematic, but you will be dealing with it and handling it a lot better, and not walking into traps the way that you may have in the past, and also taking the consciousness and reality of where a lot of other people are at way less personally. Okay. I also would say that if there's any problematic people, like, in your life, like in your workplace, or like things that you can't control, I definitely think that you're not going to be bothered by these people. Gray rocking is going to be your new best friend in 2026. But how to bring light to your life in 2026, we have the Ace of Cups, and we have Arakara. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but you know what? I think it's better to try. Stirs the forces of creativity into action. So I really think that any way to bring light to your life is just doing anything that you love, I think will always be something that will be nourishing to you, just doing something that you enjoy. But also, I think focusing on your own creative energy, I think, is powerful, not only in like creative content, like traditional creative context, but in terms of, you know, when you're really having a hard time and life is kind of stressful, and, you know, maybe you don't have time to dedicate to the things that you love, but you really need some sort of third option or third pathway to make it through this period of time, getting what needs to be done, but also caring for yourself in the process, I feel like this chant could be really helpful in helping you come up with opportunities or attract opportunities to bring light to your life, your body, your consciousness in that moment, and also bring inspiration that leads to more forward momentum, that is spontaneous and exciting, but builds into these exciting new pathways that it's like doors are appearing where there were once walls, and it's coming from this willingness to follow your flow and follow what lights you up. I also think as well, antagonistic forces coming at you or that are generating within you, you don't feel threatened by them in the same way. Like you really do, you are truly coming into an era of peace and love where you're just not bothered by the density of negativity in the same way, because like it's just, it doesn't have the same hold over you. So I really do think that this is the year where you're making things happen and creating new possibilities and new pathways out of thin air, and it's coming from this place of you're actually operating at a level of freedom and true connection to self that you've never had before. And so I definitely think that when you feel stuck or when you're in a pickle or when you're really struggling to see the light, that's when you should tap into your creativity. That's when you should, tap into your creativity to find solutions, or be open to opportunities to do things that you enjoy, to share love with others, to receive love, to do things that you love, because that will be something that recenters you in this beautiful place of, oh yeah, this is my year of enjoying life. Like this is really a year of having a fresh start in life, having a new lease on life, and actually enjoying it and considering your needs, your terms, and what's truly meaningful for you in the process. So we are going to go ahead and finish this video off by looking at some advice and guidance for the upcoming year. This is meant to help this year be as easy as possible, because it will still be hard, I'm sure, because it's still life. So how to be more of your own best friend. I am allowed to rest without guilt. Yes, if anybody does, it's you. And honestly, yeah, you deserve to chill in a little teacup with a mushroom hat. And you have the freedom and the power to do so this year. If you do actually accomplish that, I would like to see a picture though, because that's awesome. Congratulations! Something exciting is coming and you deserve it. One exciting thing that is coming is you, your light, your spirit. But also I think the things that your light and spirit can attract powerfully, magnetically, and easily to you, those things are coming as well. Beautiful! We also have the solar plexus chakra with the theme of harmony. The trigger statement is, I am boiling over. And the true statement is, I allow myself to feel. I cannot talk. Give yourself space to decompress and take time to nurture your body, mind, and spirit. Allow emotions to surface and release. So, yeah, you might find that this year, your emotions are more powerful than they have been in the past. You can't suppress or control them in the same way. Whenever you're randomly emotional or you have like powerful emotional responses and experiences, that's usually stuff coming up to be released. And I think a lot of feeling that you've been avoiding that really has been trying to surface so that you could release this sooner, you're gonna stop resisting it finally. And honestly, you may have no choice but to allow yourself to feel, but that's what's actually going to be really powerful, because you need to be connected to your emotional body in order to feel a lust and love for life, and a love for yourself, and appreciation and compassion for yourself. This is the year where your environment no longer has a hold over you that makes you feel like you have to shut down, but rather you make space for yourself fully. And you don't take personally how the environment responds to it, because their response to it is just their capacity to accept what's occurring, and their capacity to understand it, not a reflection of your worth. What else? Yes, we have surrendered to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings or aha moments that come through to guide you. I mean, that's really a lot of, not realize. I'm telling you what, you got the eyeball. I'm telling you. That's what you're doing this year. And I also think that another reason why it's important to be in tune with your emotional body is how are you gonna feel those gut feelings when you're not in tune with it? Important. And finally, we have don't let pride get in your way, which I think is really important. So there's an important reminder to not be too proud to need rest, to need a day off, to need time for you. You know, don't be too proud to do something corny or cringy because you enjoy it. Don't be too proud to do what you love just because other people judge it or don't understand it. Those people are what we call typically miserable and repressed. If they're not miserable, they're at the very least repressed. And one thing I do notice is that people who are in touch with their inner child seem to get a lot of judgment and ridicule from those who are not, and they see it as immature. But the reality is that those people are making an immature judgment and not realizing that, like, they're disconnected from their own sense of whimsy, their own inner child. Like, don't let those people get in the way of you being in touch with yours, because if anything, those people need to be inspired to have more fun and get in touch with theirs, because they'd probably enjoy their life more if they did. And one thing that I will say, in this year, you are going to be enjoying your life more. It might feel a bit chaotic and bumpy in the beginning. I feel like your emotions are going to be something that you feel very out of control of, but when you flow with them, you're going to find that you feel very good at the end of that. And I think Storm Wisdom, I want to read you Storm Wisdom. I'm going to do that right now, actually. Storm Wisdom, I think, is going to be entering your life in the beginning of the year to create the freedom and fresh start that you are truly ready to have. So this is the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I will just say that anything that is created by Alana Fairchild, it tends to be excellent, and I highly recommend anything. You know, if you're especially looking for resources for self-healing and for energetic healing, I think Alana Fairchild is excellent, an excellent source. And I will say, as someone who is incredibly self-guided in their own spiritual path, her work has been an invaluable resource. So she might be helpful for you too. But we need to look for Petersite, and there we go, Storm Wisdom. This is something that you're going to experience this year, so pay attention. And it's going to be in the earlier part of the year, and by the end of the year, you're going to be, you know that phrase, like, calm seas don't make for good sailors? You're going to be a skilled ass sailor. Like, storms are not going to bother you at all. You're actually going to feel electrified and excited by them. We bring you the gift of Storm Wisdom. This is the fierce, cleansing nature of divine compassion made manifest in the world. Storm Wisdom thrills the spirit, for it understands that so much benefit and liberation, see? Yes, will come from the process, yet the mind may quake at the prospect of such little control over how your life events are unfolding for a time. What is happening during an experience of Storm Wisdom is that anything that has become stagnant or obstructing to your spiritual growth will be uprooted. You may find that the divine storm of transformation powering through your life creates a feeling of upheaval, creative chaos, uncertainty, and excitement. You may feel simultaneously liberated and exhilarated, whilst also wondering if everything is going to be okay. You must remember that you will only be asked to give up something in order to receive that which is far more beautiful and supportive of your sacred life journey. You must also remember that the cleansing power of the storm will revitalize you, bring you fresh energy and perspective to take forward in your journey, and is a divine blessing which will only bring good to your life. Whilst the mind often wants to hold on and maintain the status quo, fearing change, the soul thrills at the prospect of joy, happiness, and fulfillment that growth brings. It is so devoted to the manifestation of divine love in the world that it is willing to go through the growing pains to bring the inspiring, vitalizing life of the spirit into the beautiful form of the body. That's what you're doing this year, period. The soul knows that the temporary discomfort can bring tremendous gains for the spiritual path, and ultimately far greater joy and pleasure in life for the body too. I love it. Thank you for recommending this, Spirit, because this is pretty much everything I was trying to talk about. The mind may need reassurance from the heart that all will be well during times of great change, and the wild blessing of Storm Wisdom is one such time. Perhaps you have already felt a sense of discontent or restlessness in your body, mind, or soul, feeling that a change is needed even if you aren't sure what that might best be. Or perhaps you're feeling life has finally settled down and you're quite happy for it to remain as it is for years to come. No matter whether you're in the midst of the storm of change already, just recovering for it or waiting for it to move, its cleansing grace through your life, know this. Storm wisdom is love in action. It is not going to harm you and you do not need to fear it. It is going to cleanse you on all levels and allow for more life, vitality, purpose, and passion to enter your world. You will love the outcome that eventually manifests for you as the blessing takes shape. But you will need to reassure yourself that even amongst great change, whether that be something more internal or shows up as big external changes in your life, it is safe to trust life. When the Oracle of Storm Wisdom comes to you, there is a special message for you. If you are already in the midst of a transformational change, perhaps that which is deeply challenging, and you cannot see any end in sight or are worried that the changes are going to be devastating, have faith. This storm is wild, yes, but it is filled with grace. You are being helped. You shall come through this, and the reason the storm was needed in your life is because a gentler method would not have been sufficient to free you. Freedom, that key word. Divine intervention and protection, liberation and purpose is behind the storm raging through your life. It is love that moves you. Go with it. Do not resist. If you feel emotional as you read these words, you are recognizing your truth. And didn't I say that in the very beginning of the reading? I love being right. I know I say it all the time, but I love being right. If you feel, trust in the responses of your feelings and know that all will be well according to a compassionate higher wisdom. If you do not yet see the storm in your life, do not be afraid. This oracle can indicate a time when there is much movement after a period of stagnancy where nothing seems to be moving forward. It's the burst of fresh air in life that increases your vitality and inspires you, whipping you up into a loving whirlwind of new opportunity, connection, and love. There are those minds that fear the storms of life because they don't trust in the benevolence of the universe and how much they are actually loved. And then there are those that trust life and feel loved, and they are the ones that stand head tilted up, arms flung open wide, yelling woohoo as the rain pours down. The winds howl and the fresh, cold air cleanses the body, mind, and soul. Be the lover of life who boldly receives love's grace now. Let change be the welcome gift of love's eternal grace, for that is what it is in truth. That is so beautiful, and I think just so true. Like, this is what your year is about, and I think that you are going to be really thrilled with yourself by the end of the year, because you're going to be recognizing who you've always been. And I think you're also, I just have to say, like, I'm already so proud of you because I know you're going to do this. I know that this time next year, and actually I want you to set a reminder or do something this time next year. I want you, what do you see about yourself that you don't see now? What do you love about yourself that you didn't give credit for before? I'm proud of you for being here, for doing this, because, like, man, you deserve to really be seen and loved for who you really are, because the world is missing out on not seeing the true you. And I and the rest of the world would be really, really lucky to have the true you in it. So this year is going to be really beautiful. It might be bumpy, it might be chaotic, it might be scary, but the beautiful thing is that you have the sense of humor to get through it, and you also have the wisdom and the consciousness to not let it erode your progress or make you feel like you're doing something wrong. So group 3, that's where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, at least for the first 30 seconds. That 30 seconds is actually important. It doesn't count you watching the ad unless you do that, but I don't want you to actually watch it. Put it on mute and do something else. 30-second meditation, write down some notes, something, anything. It just helps me a lot and keeps me from needing to take sponsorships or considering leaving altogether, because I've thought about going back to school, but I think we're going to be doing, I think I am going back to school, but I might be doing but I'm doing the teaching. So signing up for my email list, because there will be new stuff coming out, new classes, exciting things and offers. Liking this video is super helpful. Not only does it help others get the messages that they need to hear if this video is for them, but also lets me know what you guys want to see more of, and it just helps me in general. Subscribing if you haven't already. I would love to hit 400,000 subscribers. That would be so freaking cool. Other ways to support, check out other videos once the extended. You can share me with a friend. You can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can send me good vibes. You can leave me a tip. You can hype the video. My Cashapp is palehag. My PayPal is my email. I can respond on Cashapp. I can't respond on PayPal, just FYI. You can check out merch, social media, candles, all that jazz. You can send me good vibes. I'm sending you good vibes right back. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you all have a wonderful 2026 and a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you will come back and see me next year. Bye! Hi there, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Synesthesia Tarot and this fourth rock, this is going to be your reading on predictions and advice for your 2026. So we're going to start by looking at the word written on the front of this rock, and this word is going to represent a key theme that you're going to be experiencing throughout your year. So your key theme, the key theme for your 2026 is hope, which I really love to see. Shout out to the hopes out there that are named Hope. Love it. And then these 3 oracle cards are going to represent how hope is manifesting in your world. So we have Ride the Waves, Life Lessons and Growth. You will get through this. We have Bearing Fruit. And we have Love. This is beautiful. This is a year where things are going well, and also this is just a year where exciting things are happening. If you now, I'm talking to a small subsection of people. For those that I'm not talking to, please refrain from panicking and just chill for like 2 seconds. Okay, my pregnant people, you know who you are. I really see a lot of beautiful energy here. The child that is coming into your world, first of all, I do feel like everything is going to go smoothly, but also prayers for that and congratulations. I feel like this child is going to be a huge part of your life and your world. And I actually got a specific message that, I got a specific message actually, that for those of you who had a loved one pass away recently, I really do feel like this child is not only going to be like just a really healing experience, like having them come in, like, you know, I'm sure the mixture of grief and joy, it will be weird, but I do feel like it will be a much needed source of joy during a difficult period of time. And I feel also too that this family member, like if you did have a family member that passed away, like I feel like they are spiritually, like in the spirit realms, like putting a lot of protection around you and your baby and your birth. And there's a lot of good loving energy. And what I see as well is not only this baby coming into an environment of a lot of love, but also you really reaching depths of love. I mean, even if you've had children before, I mean, maybe the circumstances surrounding this child and your birth are different. And I do have to say, I don't get birth messages like this so profoundly very often. So if you are in those circumstances, know that is powerful for you. I do see this being a really positive time, and just, you know, the waves of like, you know, just pain, labor, struggle, challenge, grief, like whatever you may be dealing with during this time, I feel like the loving aspects of life are not only going to help you get through this, but also I feel like the tapestry of your world is just being added in ways that add so much more beauty and color to the picture that there could have already been, or just more than there ever has been before. Now, for all of you, you are metaphorically pregnant. I really wanted to make a Maury joke there. I'm not the father. I ain't paying no child support. I'm not the father of your metaphorical pregnancy. I'm just letting you know. I'm the metaphorical pregnancy test. For every single one of you this year, something that you have already, that you have in your mind conceptually, or that something that you are already working on is really taking shape and grounding into the third dimension this year. The fact that we have bearing fruit, every single one of you here is going to be very fertile this year. So if you can literally get pregnant or have those circumstances happen and that's not something you want, make sure that you're taking the necessary precautions. That is important. I pray that the necessary precautions that you need are still available, depending on where you are. That is something that hopefully we as a collective will be addressing. That being said, though, that's a tangent and a can of worms I really shouldn't and don't want to touch right now, because this is about you and your reading, not about insane injustices that people are totally cool with. Anyway, if you don't want a child and you have the circumstances to make it possible, make sure you're taking the necessary precautions or doing what you need to do. That being said, though, this is going to be a beautiful year for you. If you have been manifesting a loving relationship, or if you've been in a situation where, like, let's say you have a long distance relationship, or let's say you're in a relationship with someone where you guys are ready to take things to the next level, but there are circumstances like timing or finances or visas or jobs, like things of that nature, you're gonna see that existing relationships where there is already love, like there's a lot of improvement and forward momentum. But if you are not if you're not wanting a relationship and you are single, I do just see a lot of healing of, and for all of you, whether you're single or not, I feel like all of you are going to be really loving yourselves on a much deeper level than you ever have this year. And I also think you're just, the sources of love in your world are expanding so much. And I think part of that expansion is not actual expansion happening, but it's more so expansion of your awareness of all these sources of love around you. But I feel like also this love, I feel like love is something that only expands and like adds to itself. So the love that you're recognizing is also causing you to attract more loving energy into your world and recognizing it from more sources. And all of this loving energy is serving as fuel to help you ground and bring into this world, and quite literally or metaphorically birth a creation that came from love into this world. I definitely think that, now one thing about birth, we know labor is not easy, literally. It's quite dangerous and it's very physically intensive. Metaphorical births, luckily, are less dangerous and less, I would say, grueling. I've never been in labor, but all I will say is I am terrified of that smoke and have been terrified of it since I was a child. So if it's only metaphorical labor, I think that's something to count as well. At least it's metaphorical. But shout out to all the icons out there who have given literal labor, because that's incredible and you're a badass. And I actually think too, if there's any, like, if you've been feeling really disconnected from your body or your identity since becoming a parent, or since a major change in life, I think that you're gonna be not reconnecting to who you were before, but reconnecting to parts of who you were before and integrating them with who you've become to make a more whole version of who you are now. And I think that you're going to love who that person is, because I think what you're going to find is the parts of you that may be yearning for a past version of yourself, it actually won't be as satisfying, or it's like, I feel like it's more than nostalgia rather than the reality of who you were then, that you're yearning for. And I think actually, if you were truly connected to that part of you, I think you would find that there's things left to be desired in terms of like what your consciousness and your awareness needs now. So I feel like you're going to be revisiting your past self in ways where, oh yeah, I didn't need to carry that with me, or oh, I actually really like I've evolved in this way. And I feel like you're going to be taking what does still ring true for you that you have felt disconnected from, bring it back into your world and into your reality, but also be in this process of self-discovery around who you're becoming and this beautiful integration of the past versions of you with your present self and how your future is unfolding. I definitely think that, like, as with any year, there will be highs and lows, but I think ultimately any lows will be far outweighed by the positives, the benefits, the highs, the experiences, the growth, the wisdom, the rewards that come from navigating life. And it kind of also makes me think of, too, you know, a lot of mothers say that after, you know, like, yes, labor is hard and really painful, but like after you do it, you kind of forget how bad it is until you're doing it again. And so I do feel like, I don't know if that's true or not, and that may not be everybody's experience, but I do kind of feel like whatever struggles, suffering, or intense labor is required to bring what you've already been creating into the world, the product or the result of what you're creating is going to be so worth whatever you had to go through to bring it here. But also, I think as well, you are shifting, or not shifting, but this is just a time in your life where the love around you is so apparent, and it softens any challenges, struggle, or hardship that you've been dealing with. But it also restores your hope and faith, not only in for things getting better for yourself, but I think you might even find that your hope and faith are being restored in humanity. Even, I will say, children can do that. Like, my nieces, for example, I was just with them, and whenever they see a young child around their age, not only are they so excited to interact with them, but their first impulse is to give them a hug. Like, I just can't look at that. Like, if you look at that and you can't think that, like I just look at that and I think, like, yeah, humans are inherently good. Like, I truly believe that. I think that there is an inherent goodness to humanity. And I think that you might be tapping into that this year, like recognizing that, like the inherent goodness of life, the inherent goodness of humanity. Like, yes, we have egos, yes, we have struggles, but like, I think humans at our core, I believe we are loving. I believe we have goodness in our hearts. And I think that you know, maybe not everyone is wired that way, but I do think, to generalize humans, I do think humans at their core are good and loving. And I think that you're experiencing that this year. I feel like, especially if you struggled just with a lot of like negative thoughts, like just a lot of intense hardships and challenges, this is the year where all your hard work and all the seeds that you've been planting and all that intensive gardening you've been doing, where you've been like, is this gonna be worth it? Is this gonna pay off? Like, this is the year where it does. And this is the year where you realize, like, okay, this is part of the game of life. Like, there are highs, there are lows. Sometimes we try to bear fruit and we don't reap anything. Sometimes our harvest is abundant, but behind all of it is love. And I think that you're really going to start appreciating parts of yourself that I think really carried you through challenging times when you were more disconnected from love, or where you were in really stressful states where you're like, oh, no wonder, like, I couldn't, you know, make this happen during this period of time. Like, I was so stressed out, like I wasn't even in that place. I really just think that this is a year where, if you're not sold on the whole concept of life thing and like, is it truly worth it? I think this is the year where you go, yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, I'm gonna complain still and get upset and get frustrated a lot, but like, life is worth it. Life is worth fighting for. Life is worth living. And yeah, you're gonna be very Life We Live Project Pat coded, for sure. You're gonna be, listen, I was just thinking of the lyrics. I'm like, you're gonna be getting paid like no other dog. Now you're stacking chips, you know? Maybe that is the case for you. I will say, in terms of bearing fruit and fertility, that can be like financial fertility, creative fertility that leads to financial outcomes. That could be just, you know, healing that makes you more like confident in yourself, that leads to promotions. But ultimately, this is the year where things start coming together for you, and things that you've been working on for a while now are finally taking root, coming to earth. And also, there's just a lot more hope, trust, and faith in your path and your future. I feel like any hope that you've lost, any faith that you've lost is being restored. And on top of that, I feel like you're not only hopeful and excited for the future, but I think that there's also just a lot of relief in, okay, this doesn't have to stay within me forever. Like, there is life beyond a state of literal or metaphorical pregnancy. Yeah, the pregnancy theme here is strong. So, everybody here is pregnant, whether literally or metaphorically. That's just all I'm going to say. Like, that's what you're going to be seeing this year, is whatever's been percolating within you, whatever's been growing within you. This is the year where it happens. Plans that have been conceived already, plans that have been, you know, a work in progress, highs and lows of making it happen. That's what this year is about. And I think that this is a year of fulfillment and rewards for you, and just a year of like, yeah, very like Hannah Montana, this is the life, hold on tight, coded energy. I really love to see it. I love to see it for you. So we're going to go ahead and go deeper now into your tarot. And while I'm shuffling, thank you if you want to leave me a like, if you enjoy this. Thank you for doing that. Oh, okay, there's that Two of Cups, so maybe you'll even love me. You don't just like me. Well, I love you too. But also, I feel like this Two of Cups just coming out, I think, is really significant too. Like, if you've been in a long-term relationship where things have been kind of challenging, I think like this is the year where you guys work through things. Of course, unless you are in a situation that is harmful to your being or anything like that, that's something that I would say you should not be in, and I would hope that you would get the resources to do that. I'm not equipped to help you with that, but I will say, like, nobody deserves to be in a situation like that. What I will say though is, like, for all of you, I do think that you're coming into deeper connection for yourself and coming into deeper love for yourself, and I think that that is allowing you to connect more deeply to others. And I think that it's something that will, like, if you're in an existing relationship, I think it's going to bring you and your partner closer. But if you are looking for love, I think this could be the component necessary for you to really attract the type of love you've been looking for, that you've been desiring, and have a level of healing love that and healing growth in love that you know is possible and that you've wanted. You're actually able to ground it this year. That was satisfying. I love that shuffle. Yeah. Okay, so let me lay out your oracles actually for each category. So what will group number 4's overall vibe be in 2026, please? Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to turn it over yet. Hopefully you didn't see that. Okay, what will group 2's overall vibe be? Group 4. I was looking at the second card, sorry. What will the overall vibe of group 4's environment be in 2026, please? What will group 4's overall environment be in 2026? What will a major highlight of group 4's 2026 be? Okay, and how can group 4 bring light to their life and the lives of those around them in 2024? Okay, so the fact that we have the 3 of Pentacles on the back of the deck, it really tells me not only are you really proving to yourself and others this year what you're capable of, but also I feel like you're not in this alone. Like, and whenever you do feel alone, I would really take a step back and ask yourself, are you truly alone, or are you just afraid to ask for help, or for getting resources that or people that might be willing to help you, or are you like too proud to ask for help? Because I really think one way in which love wants to reach you is through the people in your world that want to support and help you. They want to show their love to you in those ways. Anyway, starting with your overall vibe in 2026, we have the Page of Pentacles and we have Sweetness. Okay, first of all, I love that these look like the same thing. Like this looks like a pinwheel and this looks like a lollipop. This is definitely, we are definitely not beating the pregnant people are here allegations, okay? For those of you that are having a child in 2026, I feel like your world is going to be full of baby cuteness and sweetness. I also feel like if you're a new parent, it is going to be a time of learning a lot, but also savoring the experience of parenthood. I feel like your overall vibe as well will be very much focused on the child, like how the child is doing might be as well as you feel. Like if they're upset, you feel upset. Like, you know, you might find that your state of being is intrinsically linked to like how well your child is doing or how well your children are doing. This could also be a year though where you taking children out of the equation. I feel like all of you are stepping into a new phase of life where you are kind of studying life again. Like you're experiencing life with a level of sweetness that I don't think you've ever allowed yourself to receive, or a level of sweetness that you haven't been able to savor in the past, whether for whatever reasons. I feel like in life, whatever is taking fruit or whatever is grounding in the year 2026, I feel like this is something that has a solid start and a solid foundation. And I think that you're really enjoying starting to build that foundation. I also think that whatever you're creating and grounding in 2026, I think there's a lot of promising progress happening. And so I feel like that even speaks to if you are having a child, like developmentally, I feel like your child is going to be like doing really well developmentally. And I think what you're gonna find as well is like they're just very sweet. Like their character is like their nature is just very sweet, and then that extends to like you just seeing and feeling a lot of sweetness. And actually, like if you have been pregnant, I do want to ask you, I read in this book where someone was describing, she'd had like 6 children, and she said that every time she was pregnant, her personality tended to take on the eventual personality that her kid would have. So like if her kid was very bubbly and jovial and outgoing, like during pregnancy with them, that's how she was. Or, you know, if her kid was very reserved or, very internal and like shy, like that's how she felt, while she was pregnant with them. So I just wondered if any of you have had that experience or if that's a phenomenon. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting. I will say though, you are feeling younger this year, and I think that you're appreciating the past versions of you that carried you here. But I feel like this is a year of learning a lot of things that are sweet. Like I think that you are learning how to do life in a way that allows you to maintain this sense of connection to love, and to also realize like, oh, life can be sweet all the time. Like even when it's hard, like life can be good. Like I can savor the goodness of life no matter what's happening outside my door, or you know what I'm saying. So I really do think that you're entering a new phase in life, and there's a lot for you to learn, especially in terms of like whatever is taking hold in 2026. Like I think that it requires like adjustments, changes in routine, and like just a learning curve in terms of how to sustain and help grow whatever it is that you are carrying or creating right now. But I think that this is a real labor of love and something that you find really rewarding and promising, and being able to savor the rewards of what you brought into the world is already very sweet. It's like the hardest part of like the part that was the most overwhelming is over. Like at least it's here and I can work on it now. Like it's not just an idea in my head or something like that. I really do think you are going to be enjoying your day-to-day life where the small things really make a huge difference in terms of like being able to savor the elements of life. But also I think that you're treating yourself and the world around you with more sweetness than you have in the past, because you're less stressed by your circumstances. And that may not mean that life is any less stressful, but at the very least, like, there are cushions that are making that stress less apparent, or I don't know, something's shifting. And well, maybe it's just the sweetness of hope and the sweetness of coming out through struggles on the other side and recognizing, oh, this is why it was worth it. Oh, this is why I was brought to this point. Like, it was so this could happen. And I probably would have never asked for this, but now I would never change this, because you know what I mean? Like, things like that. But let's go ahead now and look at the overall vibe of your environment in 2026. So for that, we have the Three of Swords and we have Tiwaz. So this is actually really profound. Your priorities are really shifting. And I've seen this a lot, actually. One thing I will say, for all of you here, no matter what reading you chose, like, well, obviously you chose 4, but this is really a year of empowerment and sovereignty and savoring sweetness, no matter what's happening in the world, because it's that savoring and that empowerment that allows us to actually make a tangible difference and just not be part of the group adding gasoline to an already huge dumpster fire. And so what I see in your world is, number one, you're taking less responsibility for tragic things that are not your fault. I feel like you have very real responsibilities that you have to care for. And also, I think that you're no longer extending sympathy, or you're no longer extending sympathy to people who are the experiencing the consequences of their own actions. I think you're kind of recognizing where, because I think you are a pretty empathetic and compassionate person, but I think that there are people that prey on that, and especially people that are not really interested in feeling better. They're really just interested in having someone's attention and having their ego fed and validated. You're gonna be seeing that from a mile away and not touching that shit. But also, I think that any ways in which society is emotionally unavailable, or ways in which society projects tragedy or projects hardship, I think you're going to be seeing that for what it is, and not allowing it to create excess fear or take the wind out of, or cut you off from like the sweetness and love and life that you're experiencing. Although I do feel like one thing that you might notice is that not everyone in your environment is as happy for you as as happy for you as you are. And I think that those people, I think that you're not going to have to do anything, but your environment is going to reveal truths to you in 2026 about sources in your world that would rather take away the sweet, would rather commiserate about a lack of sweetness with you than celebrate the sweetness entering your world. They would, in fact, they might even choose to, if they had the choice to take your sweetness away, they might. Like, the people that can't be happy for you, the people that project their own pain, they're leaving your world. And I think actually you are going to play a large role in deciding what to do in those situations. And I think you will treat what is in your environment with a lot of fairness. But I definitely think that people, places, things that you've been putting a lot of time, effort, and energy into, because your effort and energy are going to be more dispersed and different in 2026, I think you're going to notice that whatever in your environment is not in an equal, like, isn't it, anything that in your environment that's not reciprocal with what you're putting in, I think you're going to find it fall away. Like, anything where you put an inordinate amount of energy into and it's not returned, I think that truths like that are going to be revealed and you're going to know what to do. And in fact, all the loving experiences that you have this year and that I think have been leading up to this year are really going to speak to you about, it's going to be very clear to you in moments where your environment shows you a truth that maybe you don't want to see, or a truth that is kind of sad to accept. I think actually it's going to be less sad than you think it is, and the truth is going to be so clear to you that it's actually easy to make decisions that are fair and just for you and the people in your world. So, and I think that it's not even going to take much for you to have the courage to do that. I also think as well, you're not going to get sucked in to irrelevant aspects of your environment that might be distracting and disempowering, that take you away from what's truly important and where your focus should lie. So I think that you're creating balance in your environment this year, where you're doing a better job at creating boundaries and just creating like the necessary safeguards to ensure that the world is not overpowering what you're trying to cultivate in your life, and what you're feeling in your life. And actually, I think that it might be a safeguard against a lot of hopeless narratives. Actually, I think one thing you might be seeing in your environment is the way in which your environment fosters a lot of hopelessness, faithlessness, assumption of evil, or assumption of like harm or just badness, I guess. Like, I think you're kind of starting to see that for what it is and not letting it erode your very powerful and very real life experiences that are saying, yes, like bad, hard, and tragic things can happen, but beautiful, healing, loving, life-changing experiences can also happen that remind you why life is worth it. And I don't really think we see that as much in the world around us, you know? And I think that it'll be easier for you to see that for what it is. But let's go ahead and see what a major highlight of your 2026 will be. So we have the 9 of Swords, and we have rebirth and new beginnings. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. So I definitely think that this is the 9 of Swords is a card where mental anguish is so extreme that like usually help is needed or help is required. The major highlight of your years is to be getting out of a state of mental anguish that has made it impossible for you to function well, impossible for you to ground the dreams that you've had, and impossible for you to live a life that you enjoy and to feel the love that it has already been present around you without feeling like you need to look for it or consciously pay attention to it. This is the year where things do get better, and this is the year where you realize that hope was not futile, and that you realize that hope is one of the most powerful things we can hold on to when we can't see the way forward. And so I think really the big highlight for you is shifting from a place of fear to love, and that's actually a big theme for pretty much everyone here in one way or another. And that's what I love about my group of people. Like, I really feel like if you are here, like, you are a part of humanity that is here to embrace the wholeness of a human experience. And part of that wholeness is embracing the love and goodness that human life and humanity does have to offer, and that the earth does have to offer, that we may not always see or feel bad embracing, because not everyone is able to at the same time. But I think for you, the highlight of your year, I think, is overcoming some sort of really stressful thing. So for example, I could see that being pregnancy, or like a product launch, or, you know, like, oh, is my visa going to get approved? Things like that. And coming out on the other side to a beautiful new beginning and a rebirth that really sets the stage for a beautiful year. And any like challenging or hard times this year, I think, are going to be greatly dissipated by the big, significant, powerful events of the year that just bring you a lot of love and light. So speaking of light, let's see, when times are tough or when you are needing some light, how to bring light to your life this year, and subsequently how bringing light to your life will bring light to the lives of others as well. So for that, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have the chant for strengthening self-confidence. I almost said continence. That is a funny slip, but the chant is Im, Chim, Klim, which is very fun to say. And I think that if you don't say it, you're missing out, because this is really fun. Im, Chim, Klim, like that's fun. That's fun. So the way to bring light to your life is to add more confidence, to bring more confidence to your world in general. Strengthening your confidence in yourself and strengthening your convictions in your beliefs, and the beliefs especially that you've cultivated in hope, and also strengthening your confidence in your own hope and in your own faith, I think is going to be really helpful. But also with this Ace of Pentacles, you are really good at planting seeds for the future. If you're really struggling to bring light into your life, or just really struggling with all of the burdens around you, or you're just in a stressful state, give yourself the opportunity to start something new, or to think about a project, or consider a new idea. Whether you truly ground it or not, I feel like in the time span of a year, I feel like what you create, or the ideas that you kind of put onto paper, or start exploring in preliminary stages, could actually be very fruitful opportunities down the line that you may have forgotten about if you hadn't written them down, or if you hadn't explored them a little bit. I really do think that you could be in the process this year of planting new seeds for things that will bear fruit much further into the future, but that, there's value in starting them now. And I think the value for this year for you is just when you get stuck in a certain energy, or you just really need to feel a change or a shift, and you just want to feel a bit lighter, I think that just starting new things, even if it's just for fun, and it's not serious, I think will get you back in that sense of hope, and also get you mentally in a state of, oh yeah, there's all these possibilities that I forget exist. And also I think too, this chant is really great because, number one, you can do whatever you are trying to create or bring into this world in 2026. And I think believing in yourself is the very force that will make that process easier, because you just deserve to feel confident in your ability to do it. But I think knowing you can do it is half the battle. So be like the little engine that could, one of my favorite childhood books, and just keep saying, I think I can, or im, chim, klim. And I would argue the chant is a lot more powerful. But if you do have a spiritual connection to blue trains, tiny blue trains, maybe the little engine that could is what you need. I don't know. All I do know is that it's time to look at guidance. So guidance for your 2026 moving forward, we have, I don't need to morph into someone I'm not to be accepted by people. Yup. And I think that actually in your environment, you're going to be understanding that. And I think one thing you'll realize too is, I would never be enough for these people. Sure, they'd be happy to see me be miserable with them, or they'd be happy to see me conform, but that's not a person that should be in my world, right? Yay! Yes, we have self-love. It's time to fall in love with yourself. You come first. And so I really do think as well, this journey that you're taking is really going to require you to recognize where you haven't been loving towards yourself, because you really do need nourishment and support and care in order to have the endurance and the strength and the ability to ground whatever it is that you're creating. Because people can very well get in the way of your own manifestations and creations if you lose focus. But we also have flow with the solar plexus chakra. The trigger statement is, why are things such a struggle? And the true statement is, I am in the flow. Take a breath, dear one, and allow yourself to feel the flow of life through you. Release your need to do and just be. So yeah, when you get overwhelmed or frustrated, let go of needing to figure it out. But I think that this Ride the Waves card is really a powerful reinforcement of this idea of flow. I definitely think that this is a time of going with the flow and realizing that sometimes there's wisdom to that flow. And sometimes the flow will help you just do things more smoothly and lead you to places that you wouldn't have been able to get to on your own. We also have surrender the idea you can fix someone. It's time for a relationship to shift. It doesn't work to try to fix someone. Each person must be accountable for his or her own healing. So I really do think, like, this goes back to the environment thing. Like, anything in your environment that's causing you heartbreak and that isn't fair to you, that's creating injustice, I think you might be seeing the truth of certain situations there and letting go of the idea of, like, okay, people are absolutely capable of change, but they have to want to do that change, and it's kind of up to them. So I think that you're also going to be more hands-off this year and like, okay, like, I'll just let people be how they are and let that speak for itself. And finally, we have to look at the bigger picture. So I really do think when things are getting overwhelming or you're really struggling, looking at the bigger picture and zooming out and remembering, like, you know, 3 years ago, I didn't even know that I was going to be in this position. And 3 years ago, I would have never thought I was capable of this, or, you know, things like that. You know, 3 years ago and 1 year ago, I thought it'd never be possible to bring this out. I never knew how I would make it happen. And now look, I really do think that when you get caught up in the tension of the moment and the fear and the stress of the moment, zooming out in the big picture and reminding yourself, like, look at everything I've done. Like, look at what I've accomplished. Like, or look at how much time, opportunity, and hope there is for things to shift. Like, I think that will really bring things into perspective for you and also reconnect you to a sense of hope that helps you keep going, even in times where you might feel a little bit stressed or wonder if your hope is futile. I'll give you the answer, it's not. So group 4, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else, at least for the first 30 seconds. Apparently, a lot of y'all did not believe me or something. Like, it doesn't count that you let the ad play unless you let it play for at least 30 seconds. So thank you to everyone who does that. I don't expect you to watch it. I'm not a monster, but like, I know you have more than one screen or entertaining thing around you. It would just be really helpful. So thank you to everyone who does that. But otherwise, just support me liking this video. Thank you to everyone who does that. You can comment down below, let me know how it resonates, and subscribe if you haven't already to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Shout out to my notification squad if you want me to see your comments. I usually see them when I first upload, unless I'm like deeply terrified for whatever reason. It does happen, and in that case I wait until I just don't, my nervous system isn't shot. Other things, you can check out merch, social media, candles, other videos, ones with extendeds. Sign up for my email list. My email list gets unique special privileges nobody else does. So if my email, like, if I ever do personal readings, only my email list will know about it, and only my email list will have the opportunity to receive one. Only my email list gets fun, cute pictures of wildlife, and only my email list gets fun, cute freebies. So if you don't want fun, cute freebies, exclusive offers, and to know when I'm offering personal readings, if I ever do, and I say if because I don't know, you're not going to know if you don't sign up for my email list. So if you don't want that, don't sign up. Miss out on the perks. But if you want special privileges, you got to be signed up for my email list. And I feel really bad for the people who unsubscribe because they're losing their privileges. They don't even know what they're losing. That being said, though, Cashapp, palehag, super thanks, hype. My email is my PayPal. I can respond to you on Cashapp. I cannot respond to you on PayPal. Yeah, I think that's it. I love you guys so much. I really hope you guys have a wonderful 2026. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this too. I love you guys so much, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!